Happy Monday! Welcome to the start of another week. Yes, that's right, friends. We start... It's Monday, right? I mean, there's not much that can be said about this day. The beginning of the week, and we'll kind of ease our way into it. Yes. Hope you're all keeping well.
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
Eat it and eat her. Look at the state of that. I hope you're all keeping very well. Tonight, friends, we're going to start on a little journey. Yes. We've done ATC over the years. We've done a VF4 course and an IF4 course, primarily, focused on our ICAO or European kind of procedures, right? Well, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be having a look at flying in the United States, using the FAA regulations.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Right? We're going to try and figure this one out. So... let's see what happens here, right? Tonight, we're going to have a look at what the course is pretty much going to be doing, as I said, over the next couple of weeks. Now, if you're brand new shampoo to online flying, well, this is going to be particularly of interest, we hope. And perhaps you've already been flying on VATSIM, but you want to, take things across the pond and start learning some of the US kind of stuff. I'm going to try my hardest not to bore the bejesus out of you. There's a bit of stuff we need to, of course, look at. But tonight, it's very much just an introduction, right? I mean, what's it all about? How do we get ourselves connected? What's the pros and cons to all of this? This time round, Gibbo and Rambog, well, right, I mean, they had to get some serious workage over the last series that we did, and it would have been nothing without the support that the guys giving us live ATC. And that, of course, the guys over at VATAir. We had Adam and Josh, tremendous help throughout the entire course. This one, though, I mean, we're not starting off from like zero. We've done quite a bit already. Jesus.
10-4, good buddy.
Buttons are being pressed. We're not starting out from zero. I mean, we've been here for quite some time. In saying that, if you are brand new, well, the course we're going to have a look at, the practical side of it, well, this will definitely provide you with the key information that you're going to need if you were just starting off with some online flying. So we'll go through it, how it works. I have a ground school document which is basically there for your perusal and to help you out. And well, the Limbics and Old Veteran have been helping me with that in the background, just getting the old Murphisms out of the way. But yeah, let's see how we go with this one. As I said, I'm going to try not to bore the bejesus out of you. There's some pretty cool, interesting stuff here, especially with VATSIM. The use of CTAF being real-world kind of procedures. On VATSIM, never really used it. It's always been Unicom or Universal Communications, or the channel at least. CTAF is more to do with the with pilots talking to pilots, so we're going to have a look at that as well. And to kind of wrap it all up in a neat little package, well, we can utilise things that just weren't available last time round, the likes of, say, intentions, where we can practice some of our voice procedure, listening, the whole idea of kind of load bearing, multi-load, or multitasking. That's what this is all about. I mean, it's one thing to be able to, start up the aircraft, fly the aircraft and navigate. That on its own is quite a bit. But when you start throwing in ATC into the fray, be it from an AI or even from VATSIM or Pilot Edge or IVAO, it doesn't really matter. Your flight experience or your flight simulation experience, it's unbelievable. It can give you such a great kind of insight into the more realistic side of aviation. And as flight simmers, well, we always look at the realistic side with a pinch of salt going, Jesus, imagine having to do that. I'm going to press pause and make myself another cup of tea. So that's what it's kind of all about. Let's see how we get on. And it should be a bit of crack, right? There'll be loads of questions, I'm sure. And but we have a new Discord page open as well. If anyone's stuck anywhere, well, just let us know, and sure, we'll see how we get on with it. Do you know what I mean? But there will also be some flying as well. With the flying or the practical side, there's going to be at least one flight every week, and you can kind of do this at your own pace. I'm here to deliver the theory side of it when it comes to understanding what things are. And then we have Boston Virtual. They're going to be looking after all the practical side. And hopefully then we can figure out good times when to fly online, when there are controllers online. And again, there's all stuff going on in the background. All the foundation work has been done. As I mentioned, between Gibbo and also with Rambog, we have this awesome VATSIM bot that's on our Discord that you can request to say, hey, give me a notification when a certain controller or controllers go online. That's dead handy. So we're going to be utilising all of that. So anyway, how was your weekend? You're looking well. Do you know, for someone who just came out of a weekend, you're very welcome in. I was very busy. We did some flying last night and fighters. Oh, yes, we flew the jets. And then I had an idea, and then Colonel Fork gave me another idea, and now we have a new idea. We'll do something later on in the year with jets for sure, because they're just so complicated. We have to figure out what makes them tick, unlike what makes Murphy, tick. But yeah, we'll have a blast at that. But it was a lot of fun. Super, super handy. Yeah, we'll have to get an old count. How many times will Murphy say super handy on this stream? Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, let's see what the crack is. Who come in the door, look?
Hey, come on. You're going a bit mad there.
Whoa, now. We have the forgetful Larry has rambled in. Welcome in, Larry. And yes, would you believe it, lads? It is a partner anniversary. It's a 4 years, I think. Right? Jesus. 4 years as a partner on Twitch. None of this would have been possible without you guys. So it's, happy anniversary to you guys. And thank you very, very much indeed. You're all brilliant. Larry, welcome in. Captain Maximus is in the chat. Welcome in. Vacuum, good to see you. CP65, happy Monday. Tarnish Mossman is here. Black Eyes Gabe, we have a Black Eyes Gabe. Good to see you, Gabe. Sun Jammer, welcome in. Lead Ballooner, happy Monday. Super Ty has rambled in. Welcome in, my guy. Fierce Wolf, looking fierce. And Wolfie, welcome aboard. Anthony V, good day. Bell Bro is in the house. Schutz, good to see you, man. Sean Dale, happy Monday. Black Eyes Gabe has subscribed at a whopping tier 3 for 44 months. He says, where are we off to tonight? We're in New England. They should build a new Ireland. I think that'd be class. We give it different names. There's New Dublin. There's New Tipperary. And don't include Leitrim. It'd be like an Ireland 2.0. It'd be fantastic. We should have done that. We'll do it. No one's done that sort of, colonial conquering in quite some time. We'll do it. The Irish are fierce handy at doing stuff. Let's see where that goes. But Gabe, thank you very, very much indeed. Sir Capsalot, good evening, my dude. Assidious is here. Eamon 1973, 45 months. Thank you very, very much indeed, Eamon. Hope you're well. Tripwired is in the house. Idle Cutoff, Cambridge calling. Hello from Tipperary. Hope you're well. Spitfire RAF 100 is here in the chat. Happy Monday. Shuffle Shoes shuffles in. AJH John. Old Veteran 965. Scott, you're most welcome. Hope you're well. Stick Figure, greetings. Soaring AJ. AJH, man. Proby Pete, good to see you. He says, hello from Arizona. Hello from Tipperary. What's the weather in Arizona? Viper Strike is here. Good to see you. Currently doing some Firefly air flights. Come on yourself. Ozymandias, good to see you. In a box, man, good to see you. Hope you're well. Ozymandias, happy Monday indeed. Creo, welcome aboard. Toto is in the house. Cranking up the... Who does press that shagging button? Who presses that button? That's fake. That thing is upstairs somewhere. But yes, Martel, hope you're keeping very well. Wicked Lumberjacks, let the ageting begin. Brilliant. Hope you're well. David Bay, how are you? He says, he goes, evening all. Weird in 24 today. All me add-on aircraft and scenery are missing. Seems to have been an update since I last played. So I think the issue was anyone who was enrolled in the beta, a patch kind of snuck out on Friday and has caused, some issues, right? Because I think it's reset some of the most kind of default settings, the location of your community folder, your control bindings, and so on. There's not really an easy fix. You kind of have to start from scratch. Some people were able to repoint the sim back to the location it should be in. Others had to do a reinstall. So yeah, you're not alone in that, my guy. Not alone in that. So, A Crowtag is here. Welcome in. Mickey Ozzy even. Good evening. You're looking mighty. Filthy, good to see you. Max Stallion is here. Where's this now? B. Carlo, you're looking well. Out here in the suburbs is out there in the suburbs. Happy Monday. APU Inspector, welcome in. Captain Butters is here. 47 months, man. Thank you very, very much indeed. Muse fan bursts in the door with his face. He says, how he is his mad jokes. Happy Monday. And to you, a wild Jay Winokur has rambled in. 43 months, Jay Winokur. Thank you very, very much, my guy. Hope you're well. Kozaki Flyer, 2 PCs packed for the move. Down to 1 to watch Murph. Kozaki, you're looking well. Hope all is well in the realm. Little Trader, how are you? Gar Gaming is here. David Bay says, so glad there's another ATC course. You love the last VATSIM one. Well, thank you very much. Zybot Doc is here, calling from Denmark. Hello from Tipperary. Who else? Fly Murph. He says 6 months, that's a whole half a year subscribed to the original and best Murph. Fly Murph, thank you very, very much indeed, my guy. Really appreciate all the support. Scorpio49 rambles in. A bottle of something fancy. We can't make it out, but it looks nice. Good to see you, my guy. I've not landed a plane successfully yet in the sim. And you play on the Xbox. It's grand. Landing's overrated. You don't need to land. Don't mind that at all. Devil Fly, good to see you. Southern California. Well, hello from Tipperary. Now, let me see. Jesus. Gerald. Yes, that's better. Welcome in. I keep getting it wrong. Flying Diggs, good to see you. Mac Vision is in the house. Will there be any refunds? No, shag off. Where are you going to... Wait now. Black Eyes Gabe says, when are you going to stop boarding the bejesus out of a Smurf? Wait, what? Wait, now, it's all grand. Sky Sailor, hello there. Hope all is good on another Monday. Indeed, and to you. Now, Crimson Knight, greetings. Petrolhead is here. You're looking mighty. Psy120, he said, I just tested my new BIOS with the 7.5 hour flight from Abu Dhabi to London. Came through very well. Nice one, man. Nice. Owen is here. Welcome in. Stu Snape. Happy birthday, Stu. He says, good evening, Murph. Thanks for all the birthday messages on Discord. I've been on the pint since 12. Ah, Jesus. Brilliant. Joey Bolo is here. Working and lurking for the crack. Good to see you, Joey. Hope all is well. Gulf of RD, hi. Jesus. Damn, I'm good. He is that good. Good to see you, man. There's a town in Pennsylvania called Upper Dublin. It's nowhere as nice a place to be than as the real Dublin. Jesus. Upper Dublin, you say? P.S. Miranda. Hello there. Hope you're well. Naughty Gnome is here. Fashionably late. How many syllables can you get into the word fashionably? Fashionably. Welcome in, Naughty Gnome. Right, Newcastle. Yes. New Old Castle, that works as well. Dougal McTavish, the chairman, has rambled in. Good to see you, Dougal. Now, let me see. Tenured is here. Ailerons into wind. The hymn has arrived. Ailerons, I got a box from Mosa earlier. I'll show you. I said, brilliant. I'm after getting a box from Mosa, you know. They must have heard what I was saying about an emergency stop. It's an emergency, that's what Right, I mean, at least they're thinking about my safety, you know, for that of my tums. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, that's what I got from Mosa. Right, we're over here. Microsoft Flight Sim broke a thing. No shock there then. Wait, what? Right. Last Friday was a blast. Sky Sailor, it was amazing crack. Very sore head on Saturday. Hank Jonkman is here. Hello from New England. Hello from Tipperary. Welcome in. Right, we're over here, look. David Bay. Welcome. He says, take a look. Yes, do, David, check that out. 100%. Lord Freight is here. Dude, he's going to be joining us on Wednesday. That should be fun. Showing off something new. Dan Fancy. And he's got some add-ons as well. Right, can't wait. It's going to be brilliant. Fornax, hello. Probably Pete says, is VATSIM going to be required or can we just use say intentions? You can just use say intentions. The whole idea of this, lads, is to get you somewhat comfortable, competent, but comfortable if you wanted to fly in the United States. And the voice procedure, the vocab, and understanding kind of, you know, the structure of how ATC operates, that'll help you on your ATC, be it on VATSIM, Pilot Edge, IVAO, say intentions, the other guys, it'll work on anything. It's giving you the knowledge of understanding kind of what to do, when to do it, and what time you're doing it at. That's if you're doing anything at all. That's the idea, right? But we'll have a bit of fun. Now, where's this? Jesus. Hayden is here. Good evening. Sexy sausage. Jesus. Good to see you, Hayden. You're looking mighty. Turner says the A350 has taken 14 minutes to start from pressing ready to fly. OMG, man. 6581, welcome in. Many thanks. Schutz says, I schnuck a 2 terabyte M2 drive and a 64 gig DDR5 past the missus and into the PC over the weekend. All I can think of is, Mission Impossible music as you were doing it.
Big 10-4, good buddy.
Swing or Mission Impossible, Inspector Gadget, or what was the other one? The Pink Panther. Any one of those themes would have worked for that endeavour. Brilliant. I bet Upper Dublin is much cheaper than Dublin. I wonder, is Upper Dublin, as rough? Well, I say rough. I wonder, is Upper Dublin as kind of like, North Dublin? You know what I mean? Did they speak with an accent in Upper Dublin? Brilliant. But right, we're over here, look. McCracken Air, my dude. Good to see you, my guy. Hope all is well. Did you have fun? You must have been jet lagged as well. McCracken Air from Say Intentions, ladies and gentlemen, here in the chat. And it was awesome. Your turns. Do you have indigestion? Wait, what? I didn't know. Moses saw you driving with Larry. Brilliant. Right, over here, 777. He says, evening from a tired 777. After an 8 a.m. start this morning and a busy weekend upgrading my home network to 2.5 gigs. Wired and Wi-Fi 7 throughout. Irony is, I'm watching PM YouTube as Twitch is being twitchy. Oh, Jesus. So much stuff that you want us to buy. I'm telling you. Right, over here. Tombs, look at this. Tier 3 for 3 months. English, Murph, you can do it. Tombs, thank you very, very much indeed. You legend. Did you see what he did? Is that thing stuck? You ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when he dressed up as a girl bunny? Me neither. I was just asking. Swing! Garth Algar. Wolf to Fear. Welcome in. Light Bison is in the chat as well. Lenny Bobbins. Hello. Right.
Can I get a refund?
There's no refunds. You can... oh, look, it's fixed. Brilliant. We fixed it. Right, we'll come over here now briefly and say hello to some people watching us on the Tube of You. You're all very welcome in. Spiner is here. Black Sheep Jean, good day. From San Jose. Welcome in. Mrs. TPHI. TPHI. Welcome in, Mrs. TPHI. Brabus11, welcome aboard. Dave Cleary is here. Legend Dave. Alan Black, good to see you. Uniform Goose. Hello, Goose. Kato is here. Airbus Guy. I wish this feckin' Egypt would hurry up. So do I. Right? I was doing push-ups. Visualize, good to see you, man. David Langley.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Hope you're keeping well. As my lights were turned off again. Siddle, welcome aboard. Mystic is in the chat. UTV and Ham. Hello. Mutt Dog, good to see you. Johnny Shoe, Captain Mustard. Jesus now. Heinrichsen Hansen. Hello from Iceland. Hello from Ireland. We're very similar, you and I. We're not so different. A C or an or. Fred O'Sullivan, good to see you. Who else come in the door here now? Look, it's kind of busy. Who? What? Who? Fernando Deval. Hello from Texas. Hello from Tipperary. What's it like in Texas? And Gabe says hello from over here. Hello over there. Right, now, let's have a look. We're catching up. We've caught up. This is all brilliant news. Don't Ask Me Why has subscribed. Jesus, tier 3 for 4 months. Thank you very, very much indeed. Insane support. Don't Ask Me Why. David Bay, also thank you very much indeed. 27 months. Lads, thank you. Thanks. Thank you very, very much. I can't speak. You're brilliant. Thank you also very much indeed. Evening all. I'm just in time for Murph to start the intro. Energizer, you've made it just in time for the intro. Fantastic. Trixillian, good to see you. Right, let us, the Tube of You. Yeah, swing. Brilliant. Right, let's turn off that light for a second. Lost for words. Who, me? I'm telling you. Right, come on over here now.
Welcome to my secret underground
layer. Right, lads. So, wait till you see the crack here. Now, the actual ATC course is due to start next week, but tonight it's all about giving us a gawk of what it's all about, what we're going to be doing, and how we're going to be doing it. Yeah, all right? So, to start us off, at the very beginning, well, I'm going to give you an outline of what this course is going to be all about, all right? So we're going to start off here. Now, this is all very much work in progress, still being worked on, right, is the thing. Now, I wonder, can we get fancy with this now? We can. Jesus, we can, look. So we're going to bring this gadget over here like that and bring him up there now. And then bring him down here. Right. And what we have here is the virtual ATC ground school document. Now, this is 281 pages of me waffling. Right? Now knuckle down, lads. Now knuckle down. Basically, what this covers in the entirety of this document, it covers VFR and IFR, right? And that's mainly for flying in Europe, specifically flying in Ireland, but most of it is transferable. The latest or the most up-to-date part of this is going to focus on what we're going to be doing over the next few weeks, of course, which is flying in the United States. To give you an idea, this is available for free over on the twotonemurphy.com website. There's a PDF viewer built into the website. We don't know how we did it. I asked Gibbo and he said, you can do it this way. And I said, marvelous. And it worked, right? So this is available for you right now. It just doesn't include the USA stuff in its entirety. All right. It's on version 7, I think. Right. And you can grab it from there because the VFR and IFR stuff we've already covered. If you want to read back over that, it's going to give you enough to not give you, a sore head once we start the USA stuff, if that makes sense. All right. So anyway, there's a contents page and it starts at the most basic of basics, how to use the document. Why would you want to fly online? What online networks do we have? The connectivity, how do you get yourself up and running? Your simulator and your sound settings, anything from model matching. And then we go into more of the technical stuff, abbreviations, the phonetic alphabet. You might say, who? Cyrus T is here. Me lights turn teal. Cyrus T, welcome in. Is it available as an audiobook? I must look into that. That'd be brilliant. But also very long and very, very boring. A phonetic alphabet is basically, instead of saying A, B, C, D, E, and so on, we say Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta. And the reason why they use phonetic alphabet, and there's some numbers there as well, and the pronunciation of them, it's to kind of counteract any miscommunication when it comes to accents. You see, for example, a Cork fella, if he was giving you a phone number, and actually, no, hang on, if he was giving you an address, you can kind of come across there now and really, right, you wouldn't understand it. By using the phonetic alphabet, you could, for example, say, your tail number, November 235 Romeo Mike. So that's the idea, right? Instead of saying, N235 or M. M sounds like N right? You know what I mean? So they use phonetic. When it comes to our numbers, there is no number as, O, right? 087, they say 0. Must be 0. 1, 2, 3 is the Irish way of saying tree, as in a tree. I've gone out to plant a tree in the garden, tree. 4 is normal. 5 is pronounced fife, like your bananas. 5 times better than your average banana. Fife. Right, then you have 6, 7, 8 is like AIT, 8, yeah. 9 is niner, because 9 could sound like 5 over the airway. It's just the way they do it, but you get the idea. Anyway, it explains what the phonetic alphabet is. Then we have a part on radio check and readability. That's pretty much the very first time you're going to try and connect. Well, you need to ask a question. You can't say, you can't go all Adele on them. Hello? No, wait, that wasn't Adele. That was Lionel Richie. Oh, wait, it could have been Adele as well. See how times change. Hello? Is it me I'm looking for? Right. You can do all that. But the idea is just kind of a procedure and a bit of common sense. You don't jump on to, across the pond event in your little Cessna and say, Kennedy Ground, can you hear me? Right? Who's your man? They don't like that. Anyway, uncertainty in communication. It's a section of uncertainty. Put it this way, right? For me, people say things to me all the time, and sometimes if I can't hear them correctly, I try not to be rude. I just go, yeah, right, and I haven't a feckin' clue what they're saying, right? That's no use in ATC, because if a controller said to me, I want you to do something, well, I can't turn around and say, oh yeah, no bother, and then go off and do my own thing. And if I think I know what it is I want to do, but I'm not entirely sure, well, how do I ask or how do I confirm this? And it all comes around uncertainty in communication. Now, the heavy lifting of this document, right? I mean, I've read through the 9 friggin' manuals, for which 7 are important. Just even the Bible of the air. What were they called? The air study something. I've done a ground school course in the real world of a handful of hours, and I've listened into ATC quite a bit. Some of it on the military side, probably more so, but it's all still relevant. Plus, of course, I've spent some time on VATSIM. I've done Pilot Edge. I've done a bit, right? It's not to say I'm 100% correct. I'm very open. If I make a mistake, tell me. I'll go off and research it, and I'll fix it. So I'm not infallible, despite your best, intentions. But we're all here to help each other. That's the point, right? If there's a know-it-all in here, put your hand up now. If you're the know-it-all who's going to be correcting me, good man yourself. Just turn around there for a second. Do you see the door? Good man yourself. Go through the door. Now, don't stop until you see that gate. And when you get to the far side of the gate, don't stop until you can't see us anymore. You can shag off, right? That's the idea, right? If I make a mistake, just tell me, Murph, you're wrong. You're completely wrong. You big idiot. Let me know. Most of this information, nearly all the information, it's available online. It's available online. You can get it from your local, what are they called? Aviation Authority. So in Ireland, we don't have we have the Irish Aviation Authority. UK NATS, I think, have it as well. The FAA. There's a lot of information already out there, but it's quite difficult to kind of put it into a structure that you can follow it from A to Z or Z or Zulu. Alpha to Z. Right, we're learning already. But anyway, the nuts and bolts of what we need to focus on here, when it comes to flying in the United States, we need to really focus on the charts because the airspace is treated differently. And we'll have a look at the differences, right? And some of the voice procedure, it's a little bit different. I have a couple of cheat sheets created so it can help us out. The main thing we need to figure out is charts. And why we want to look at our charts, because what the charts are going to show us what the airspace looks like. I mean, if we're looking here over the, into the sky, there's no, and it'd be fierce handy now, but there's no little kind of, there's no signposts, right? There's nothing. So we need to figure out, well, Jesus, how do we know what we're doing, where we're doing it, and what, you know what I mean? So that's where airspace charts come into it. We need to figure out, okay, are we allowed into this area? Are we not allowed into this area? And there's a whole load of different ones, all right? There's zoned areas, there's restricted areas, there's special areas. There's all sorts of areas. I'm not going to get you bogged down too much. We will look at the charts. They're called sectional charts. We're going to have a look at those. They're available for free as well. And we're just going to try and figure out what we can and what we can't do, all right? What else we want to do? ATIS, so the Automatic Terminal Information Service. And we also have an AFIS in the United States, Automatic Flight Information Service. That's a new one for you. That's more to do with kind of information when it comes to piloting stuff, FBOs, NOTAMs, right? We'll get into it. But ATIS, basically the weather. As pilots, be it VF4 or IF4, particularly when it comes to VF4, we need to know what the crack is. What's your... do you watch the 9 o'clock news and then you go on to, Met Aaron? What's his name? Jerry Murphy now, hi. Do you know what I mean? Right? Whoever your favourite weather person is, right? Start studying them because they know something we need. How to read weather. We need to understand reading the weather. And that can come from a forecast. It can come from an ATIS. It can come from an AWOS, right? An automatic weather observation. It can also come from looking out the window. Clouds. What do the clouds mean? Now, in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the clouds and the depiction of clouds is excellent. It's very, very good. You would be shocked, though, when I say they are missing multiple different types of cloud formations because the clouds actually tell us what's going on. It gives you the idea of, the wind speed, if there's turbulent air, even the temperature. They'll tell us all of these things. So we're a little bit limited, but it's still a lot better than what's out there. All right, you've probably seen it in the notes. Cirrus clouds being added to Flight Sim 2024. Cirrus clouds tend to be very high altitude, and they were just added. But there's all sorts of fancy Latin names: Cumulus, Nimbus, Bravo, Stratus, and all this sort of jazz. Well, we need to figure out and understand what the weather is. Mostly for us, it's going to be read in a digital text form. And we're going to break down what a METAR is. That's your meteorological area report. And we'll figure out what that is. Then we'll look at the weather forecast and so on. So there's a bit of meat and veg in that one. All right. Then we get on to the airspace. That's vital to this because it's very similar to what we have in Europe. So Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf. That's pretty much it, right? We need to understand what each of those are. From Bravo to Golf, or at least Bravo and Charlie, you may have heard that before. Request entry to the Bravo or cleared to the Charlie airspace. You may have heard these things before. What does it actually mean? And what do we need to know as pilots flying in, out, or around those areas? We're going to learn all that during the course. All right. Then we get into the ATC stations, the traffic circuit, or pattern work as it's known in the US, right? If you say, request circuits. Circus? What the hell? No, the traffic pattern, they call it, right? Startup procedures, all that jazz is there. Flight planning, of course, is important, especially when it comes to VATSIM. In the real world, not so much. When it comes to VO4, you don't always have to. It's recommended, but VATSIM, just do it. What else do we have? Equipment codes and cell cal codes. Don't worry too much about that. Most of it is automated now. We have some tremendous tools out there like SimBrief. Navigraph does an awful lot of the hand holding for us as well. And of course, Say Intentions has its own, you can file a flight plan within Say Intentions. And of course, the Sim has an excellent flight planner in there. So we can check out all of that. Uncontrolled airports. That's probably more relevant to PC pilots because not everywhere is going to have ATC. It's just a fact of life. VATSIM is the largest and most popular online network, but it depends when the controllers are online. They tend to be local controllers, which is one of the awesome things about it. If you want to fly in Dublin, well, you're going to hear people from Ireland. If you're going to fly in the United States, chances are you're going to hear Americans. Do you know what I mean? So, if you want to fly, I don't know, in Florida at like 3 o'clock in the morning, well, you mightn't get anyone online. It's just how things happen. What do we do at uncontrolled airports? Now, certainly we can use the likes of Say Intentions because, well, they will staff up airports for us and we can talk to them and receive our instructions. But there are uncontrolled airports scattered all over the map, all over the world. There isn't any ATC there. They might have, what do they call them? A traffic officer or a station officer on the ground, but that's it. There's no actual control. So we need to figure out what we need to do there. Then we move on, friends. We chat about the IFR side of the house, right? And instrument flight rules. So VFR is visual flight rules. 90% of the time you're looking out the window. 90%. IFR is instrument flight rules. Yeah, about 80% of the time you're looking inside the window. You're looking at your instruments. Chances are you're going to be flying in either bad weather or very high altitude that you just can't see stuff on the ground. That's the idea, right? But yes, Piran, welcome in. Thank you very much, man. So the IFR stuff, it's actually easier, would you believe? Those flying the tube liners, the IFR stuff, because it's more structured. If you're flying an IFR flight plan, you have all your waypoints. You have your departure, you have your en route, and then you have your arrival. And they're all waypoints. Here's my whole flight plan. I have to fly to all of these locations. VFR is quite different because we have the freedom to kind of do what we want within reason and ramble to where we want within reason. But that's why the importance comes back to the airspace. Hey, Jesus, look at the state of that mountain over there. Let's head that direction. And next thing you're a buddy in an F-18. What are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, all this information from the VFR to IFR, this is all available for you for free. It's on our website, twotonmurphy.com. I'll show you over here just to give you an idea. So if you ramble on over, it's twotonmurphy.com, and when you jump on, it'll ask you to log in. We don't need much information. Basically, what did you have for breakfast and your favorite no, we don't need that at all. You just register, and when you do, you will go to the Learn ATC series, and this is broken down into two parts. You have the IFR series and you have the VFR series. Now Gibbo, because he's a ledge, he has saved each and every episode of both series. They're all saved and you can watch them back on YouTube for a step, but you have to put up with me, but it's a step-by-step of all the lessons that we did from start to finish, all right? And it's the same for both of them, which is dead handy. I was going to say super handy, but it's dead handy. Inside the IFR, because that's our most recent, you'll see the course videos. Again, they're all saved there, right? Good man, Murphy, pressing buttons. Oh, I probably need to log in here. Hang on there now, we log in. I log in to make sure we can see what we're looking at, right? So if we go to the IFR series, if you look at the course videos, again, Gibbo has each and every single one of these saved. And these are awesome because the work that Gibbo and Rambog did, they were able to create our own network, our own little virtual network, and we were able to bring Xbox pilots in, which was savage. It was amazing. It was amazing. But that'll cover you from start to finish. If you go into the, there's an IFR check sheet in there. I think that brings us to the store. I was selling those for €1, but I may change that. They're going to be €10. Don't worry about them. The ground school document, this is the gadget we need. And it's for free. You can download it. You can print it off. Just don't tell Greta. And this is version 7.10. This brings you up to the end of the IFR course. So it's here for you to see. If you want to click on a particular topic, you just click on it in the menu. Here's me abbreviations for ATIS. And then if you click on the contents page, it brings it back to the contents. All right? So this is all free. Have a read of it. See what you think about it. And I'm going to be updating this very, very soon. Now, the next part of this, and this is what we're going to be, this is what we're going to be starting next week. I'll show you here now when I find the page. It's the FAA Conversion course. And what we mean by that is it's converting everything we've learned thus far, VA4 and IFR, from our European stuff, and we're going to convert it over to understanding how does this work in the United States under the Federal Aviation Authority's regulations, right? And it's there to do two things. The first, it's there to scare the crap out of you because there's hundreds of pages, but also it's there to make your life a little bit easier. You don't need to scour the internet for the information. I've gone to that trouble. Hopefully it's accurate. Should be, right? But anyway, you get the idea. This course, what we're going to be doing, I'll give you the outline. It's an introduction to the FAA regulations and also VATSIM operations in the United States. It's an overview of the FAA systems versus ICAO or European aeronautics. The key differences in airspace classifications. Bravo, Charlie, Delta, yeah? The flight rules and procedures. Then we need to understand the FAR and AIM along with the FAA phraseology, just so we know, hey, I want you to do this. You're cleared for the option. I beg your pardon. What does he mean I'm cleared for the option? No, I want to land, Paddy. Right, this sort of crack. An overview of the VATSIM operations under FAA rules. So, for instance, lads, something that VATSIM US started, I think it was around March last year, they introduced CTAF, right? Now, CTAF, Control Terminal, I'll get into it now in a second. Basically what CTAF is used in the real world. Unlike Unicom. Unicom is there, but Unicom was more for, chatting to ground rampies or, the FBO or, hey, give me an LGPU. This kind of crack. That's what Unicom was mainly used for. In the real world, CTAF was used for pilot-to-pilot communication because it was about pilots making sure that they have their sequencing or spacing. That's another word for sequencing. Making sure that their spacing remained correct and safe. Who are you? What are you? Where are you? And what are you doing? You need to let other people know because they're doing their things. And that's the idea behind it, all right? How do we transition from our European flying to the US system on VATSIM, right? And then finally, Sim Venture. It's the EAA Air Venture Oshkosh. So we've all heard about Oshkosh, the largest the largest friggin' air show, air spectacular, air thing that happens in the world in Oshkosh in Wisconsin, isn't it? Up that neck of the woods, right? And what happens every year, you have the annual fly into Oshkosh, as they do in the real world. You often hear, rock your wings, and they land on kind of coloured dots, right? Well, There's one of these available for the flight sim community. Now, Pilot Edge have always ran this. They've run it for years. And it's an event I've always wanted to do. I've never done it. We've flown this some time ago. We had Skeptic Anton. She was looking after the ATC for us, and we were doing the Fisk arrival. And it was a lot of fun. Actually, we did the Warbird arrival as well. It's so busy, but it looks like a lot of fun. That's going to be part of this course as well. We're going to learn all about the procedures. We're going to spend time training, and then we're going to do the gadget. Now, Pilot Edge is a paid subscription service, and it gives you ATC coverage, mainly on the west coast of the US. However, you can sign up and you get a 5-day free trial. Our plan is to use that 5-day free trial to do our Oshkosh, right? But I'm fairly confident a lot of folks will like Pilot Edge, enjoy it, and probably continue on. It's about $30 a month, but it's very, very good. It is probably the most realistic, but bearing in mind, it's only for US FIRs. That's, nothing else we can do there. So phase 1, this is what we're going to be starting next week. And to explain how this is going to work, the FAA airspace structure. So your class Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Golf. That's all the airspaces, and we're going to have a look at special use airspace. The entry requirements for VFR operations. What do we need in order to fly VFR? The VFR weather minimum and also visibility requirements. Now, that's more of a real world thing, right? It's more of a real world thing. In the sim, we can change the weather. And we can do this even if you want to fly in VATSIM within reason. You want to have accurate winds. So if the wind is certainly the direction, otherwise, your sim is going to tell you to do something, or your aircraft avionics might say, no, go to this runway instead. When you're flying online, ATC take over. They'll tell you what are the active runways. You try and match the weather as best you can, but it's not 100% required. In the real world, however, you need to know, Jesus, it's cloudy. Am I allowed to fly today VFR? And the reason being is when they talk about weather minimums, that's how far we have to stay away from the cloud, be it above us or below us. You can't fly in the cloud, also known as IMC. You can't fly in the clouds because you're no longer visually flying. You have to rely on your instruments. Not them instruments, but you know what I mean. All right. So we're going to be looking into the VFR weather minimums, and then we're going to look at flight following and ATC interactions. Now, flight following, over in Europe, we call this radar services. You might often hear people say, request a basic service, right? And that's basically where ATC will act as another pair of eyes, just another pair of eyes, and they'll be monitoring what you're doing, making sure you're staying out of trouble when it comes to other aircraft. They are not your only means of, control. It's an additional layer to bring safety and awareness to your flight when you're on VFR. In the United States, flight following in the real world is way more popular. It's used an awful lot more. They will request flight following quite a bit in the States. Why is that? Would anyone have an idea why flight following or a radar service would be more popular in the United States? Because there's a question now that we've already started scratching our head, right? Will we get a PPL? There's stuff coming out that will actually give you a virtual PPL. But no, not this. This is just to give us an idea. But why do you think flight following is way more popular? Right? Think about it. Yes, some of the answers coming in. We get warnings of planes near us, but we can still do what they want. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, there's more traffic, lads. Way more traffic in the United States, especially when it comes to general aviation. There's way more stuff going on. So flight following is vital. And on VATSIM, not every controller is up to speed because, let's be honest, VFR flying on VATSIM is not the most popular. Yet, when you think about it, when you do real-world flight training, you start off in a Cessna or in, a Piper or something small. You're in a small general aviation aircraft, and you start learning how to fly by using visual flight rules. Okay. So that's how you start. In a simulator, well, most of us will jump into a Boeing or an Airbus and we'll go straight to IFR. It's quite mad that's the transition. It's nuts. It doesn't make any sense. VFR flying is way more comprehensive. There's way more to learn. And that's why, we've decided this is the best way to learn, because we're going to absolutely horse ourselves into the deep end, and we're going to learn it as they do in the real world. Because I can guarantee you this, if we learn this, when we learn this, it's going to make the IFR side of the house way much more easier. So much more easier. It's going to be a doddle in comparison to starting off with IFR only flights. That's the idea, right? So to do it in the real world, that's the way we're going to do it here now as well. So the likes of flight following, we're going to be using that quite a bit. Flight planning. We're going to do a lot of flight planning. We've always done flight planning, but now we're going to do a little bit more, because we need to understand, hey, how do these charts work? Look at these wonderful sectional charts. We don't have them in Europe. You have them in the States, right? VFR flight plan requirements. What do we need to put in? And what we mean by a flight plan requirement, it goes beyond just the aircraft type, the name, the tail number, what equipment you have on board. In the States, we have to, well, in Europe as well, but you have to open and then close a flight plan. That's important. We'll be going through that. The differences from what we've already learned with our flight plans versus the US. Understanding sectional charts, VRPs, and airport diagrams, there are some slight differences. The information is relatively the same, but it's how we interpret that information. All right. What else we have? The VFR waypoints, they're different. Transition routes tend to be different. And then we have towered versus non-towered operations. We have the same in Europe. Just there are towered and non-towered airports. A non-towered, can someone give me an example of a non-towered airport? It could be in the States or in Europe, or anywhere near your local area. Can someone give me like an example? What's a non-towered airport? Meaning it's an airport that doesn't have a control tower. There's no known ATC. Heathrow the other day, Jesus, right? Connemara, yes. Santa Paula, yeah. You might have had one in your hometown. There you go. Moogloogle, welcome in. Jacksonville, untowered, right? So we're familiar that, yes, there are some runways or airports or airfields or whatever, they don't have towers. Okay, but how do we get in and out of them? We can't just right, we're landing down here. Do you could have Larry down there and Larry wants to take off, and sure, next thing things get terribly bad. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, then we're going to go through understanding the FAA NOTAMs. There's a difference right away. In Europe, a NOTAM is a notice to airmen. Notice to airmen. In the United States, notice to air mission. It's different. Air mission. It's the world is changing, right? And then we're going to look at TFRs. Now, TFRs are way more popular and way more frequent in the United States. Traffic restrictions, or basically airspace restrictions. You're not allowed into this area. You can have warning areas, you can have cautionary areas, you can have military areas, or you can have your prohibited areas, or indeed you can have restricted areas. Anyone give me an example what a TFR might be for? Where might you see a flight restriction, a TFR? Where might you see that? Or why or when might you see that? Yeah. Saw Larry even take off in a truck, right? Yeah, military operating areas, yes. The MOAs, absolutely Father's Game, yeah. Military bases, yes. VIP movements, that's a huge one. And you can always track that in the United States. I'll show you on what it looks like on the map where TF4s appear. You'll often see one in Washington. You'll often see one over, for example, the dreadful fires in Los Angeles. There were so many different TF4s, traffic restrictions, and they were there for a number of reasons. One is because it was just dangerous to fly into because you had smoke. But two, you had an absolute ton of other aircraft operating in that area. The firefighters, yeah. CTAF, yes, Common Traffic Advisory Frequency. Thank you, Father's Game. Yeah, 100%. We'll be going through CTAF in a moment. CTAF, unlike Unicom, yes, there are differences. Visualize says TF4s are everywhere in the US. Yeah, 100%. We see an awful lot of them. The White House, King Bob, absolutely. 60-mile radius, no-fly zone, anywhere the president is in. Yep. And there's different times. You might get them at the Super Bowl. You might get them at various stadium events. right? In Ireland, we tend to put up TF4s. Well, we used to around Gormiston when the air defence are out there, shooting weather socks. It happens. It happens in England quite a bit, especially in Wales. Wherever there's air defence activity, they don't necessarily call them MOA over here. They would just call them a TF4 or prohibited. But you get the idea, right? Then we get on to the VFR ATC communications and phraseologies. This is where we're really going to focus on this. How do we communicate and how do we understand what ATC is communicating, right? And that'll be obtaining our ATIS and making first contact. Sounds relatively straightforward, but it can throw you. VFR departure procedures, towered versus non-towered airports, taxi, ground communication, and clearance delivery differences. VFR en route procedures, flight following, transitioning through different controlled airspace. VFR arrival and landing, pattern entry, and ATC instructions at towered airports. Then it'll be self-announced procedures at non-towered fields, and that's where our CTAF and Unicom come into it. And then finally, we're going to have some practical flying exercises. Now, this is all great and wonderful and brilliant. However, I'm going to show you now something else, right? Because for the practical flying lads, well, we're going to be utilising an incredible programme made available by the Boston ARTCC. And what this is, it's called Wings Over New England. It's entirely free, and you can work to your own pace or at your own pace. And they do the entire thing from start to finish, all right? So this is over on our Discord, but if you want to check it out, here's the website. Register. It's totally free. You don't need to do anything. It's all free. And all they want you to do is link your VATSIM CID, basically your ID number for VATSIM. You link to the website, and then the whole lot talks to each other. The beauty of this, you don't now have to be available on a Monday to do the flying element. Because we knew some people missed out on weeks. Do you know what I mean? What we do with this, the Mondays are going to focus on the theory, and I'll do one of these flights and we'll talk about it and figure out what did you do versus what did I do and all that. But if you want to move along at your own pace, go ahead of the group, you can absolutely do that now, because I think there's 31 flights. There's 31 flights on the Wings program that will take you from 0 to hero, and all times you're flying in the United States. Savage. Boston Virtual, you guys know Evan from the Flight Sim Association, also with FS Expo. Evan is part of all of this, and we're chatting in the background. Evan's going to be reaching out to us in about 2 weeks' time, because he's going to do his best to make sure that there are controllers online on the Monday nights as we're doing this. Then, kind of later on, we're going to plan a couple of different events. This is probably after the course, but we know that we have ATC coverage in Texas, thanks to Old Veteran. Who else? What was that? Jeff Faviano said he'll help us out with a bit of ATC in St. Louis. And then we're going to have stuff up here in Boston. So you can kind of see we've quite a good coverage area of different flights that we can do later on. Kanzui, good to see it. So Boston Virtual's Wings Over New England is Boston's pilot training program. The program helps teach members skills that can be used for online flying in both VF4 and IF4 environments, making the most of what a home simulator can do. It includes a structured, self-guided training lesson that doesn't rely directly on an instructor or a mentor. It allows pilots to learn at their own pace and in a comfortable environment. The program is comprised of 3 pre-flight checks. We're going to do at least 2 of those tonight, followed by 30 individual flights, each contain a series of tasks. Every flight is flown under the watchful eyes of the BVA's air traffic controllers, who will monitor your progress to ensure each of the tasks for the flight is completed correctly. If the controller determines you successfully met the criteria for a flight, you achieve that rating. Now, if you're not going to be using VATSIM, which that's entirely your choice, you can use the likes of, say, Intentions to do this as well. All right? So don't fret too much. And I'm going to go through all this, through the registrations. I'm going to go through the whole shebang with you, start to finish, and we'll try and get everyone up and running. So it's very much check out what I'm doing, you guys do the same. And if you've any issues, sure, will give out, right? After completing the pre-flight checks, you can start the VF4 closed traffic at Nantucket. From there, the series of challenging flights builds to complex IFR procedures, things like holes, diversions, missed approach, descend via arrivals, and more. The first 6 flights are flown under VF4 conditions, whilst the remaining flights focus on IFR techniques. Along the way, pilots can visit some of the BVA's larger featured airports. Some of them include Boston Logan, as well as several smaller, uncontrolled fields that rarely see traffic. They've specifically selected airports that offer unique approaches, great add-on scenery, and cool challenges. And after crisscrossing the entire airspace, the program concludes back where it all started, with pilots flying a chartered visual flight rule approach into Nantucket. Savage, right? The program assumes you are already capable of flying your aircraft. As such, you will not necessarily learn procedures specific to a particular aeroplane, such as how to tune the radio and when to turn on your landing lights, or how do you use the flaps, what airspeeds do you need to be depending on that phase of flight. That's where I'll help. You will learn the pre-flight checks that you're seeking. If you're seeking help in these areas, you're able to connect to our members on our Discord, or indeed with ourselves. And many of the Boston lads have already completed the Wings flights. They'd only be happy to help out. Wings Over New England, it's geared toward any BVA member interested in gaining more a thorough knowledge of VF4 and IFR procedures in a structured yet fun environment. Novice pilots, or those who are new to BVA, well, they can strongly benefit from the step-by-step ground-up approach that the program provides. Intermediate pilots may choose to use the program to refresh their VF4 knowledge and learn to fly a broader range of IFR procedures. And then the program can benefit advanced pilots as it covers a few rare techniques, especially in later on IFR ratings. There's quite a bit going on here, right? To participate, pilots must be members of the Boston Virtual ARTCC. To fly Wings, complete a free application. So we're going to click on that. You already have an account. Balls. Can I log out here? Well, sign out for a second and I'll show you. So it says, right, apply today. So there's terms and conditions. This is how it all works. All right. Captain Cayman is here. Good to see you, man. So you can proceed through the admissions process by signing up for a VATSIM account. You should have a VATSIM account. Once we click, you have to be over 13. A working microphone and speakers to be able to communicate via voice. So it's all voice ATC. If you don't want to use voice ATC and keypad only, I'd recommend check out Say Intentions. Applications must have a valid email address. Applicants are required to pass the entrance exam, and then Boston Virtual reserves the right. Anyway, click next. In we go. Privacy and online safety statement. Have a read of it. Next, you're going to be a VATSIM account. If you have a VATSIM account, just continue. If you don't have a VATSIM account, create one. So once you verify the VATSIM account, it'll ask you to log in with all your details. The fact that I'm already there, it's already there. All right. So that's where all that jazz is. Father's Game says, Murph, you can use the VPilot program VATSIM uses to text. You could use VPilot for text, but Boston Virtual won't deal with text. So it's the FIR. They're only operating a voice only ATC coverage. All right. So once it's all done, you'll be logged in and you'll get to the forums page. Once everything's done and dusted, you've now joined Boston Virtual and you're brought to the home page. And it says, welcome to Boston Virtual. And there's a ton of information. It'll show you all the different controllers they have online, the departures, they have their own map. There's quite a bit of stuff going on here. All right. What we're interested in, we want to go over here to where it says Wings. Now, there's a ton of other information. There's charts, there's airspace briefing, but we want to go to the Wings page. And this is the intro page I showed you here. All right. So once we're registered and we're set up and we're saying, right, this is going to be great crack all together, well, we have a look at the Getting Starting page, or Getting Started. It's the second tab down. All right. So Wings Over New England flights may be attempted anytime the airspace covered on the flight you wish to attempt is actively being controlled. Now, here's one for you. You might be saying, but sure, Murph, I don't know when they're going to be controlled. Well, I'm going to show you something over here. Look, if you navigate to our if you navigate to our Discord, ! Discord, right? Who be this now? Ben Jan, thank you very much indeed for the follow. Welcome aboard. Ramble on over to our Discord. All right, exclamation Discord, that'll get you in. And you want to come down here then to ATC and VATSIM. And in here, we have a page that says VATSIM status sign up. All right. And if we scroll up, you'll see what is information. This is the start of the VATSIM status channel. The channel allows you to connect to a bot, which in turn allows you to set up tailored subscriptions, which you receive as DMs for any area you wish to be notified on VATSIM. Now, here's a question. Rambog might be able to tell me. Will this work in Boston? I wonder. So if I do, what's the command? @vatcord. So we'll try this now. @vatcord. This may or may not work. @vatcord. So subscribe. So vatcord subscribe prefix, list, delete, or clear. All right. So what we want to do, just tag @vatcord. Okay. So all I want to do is this. We're going to copy this and we'll enter the prefix. All right. So if I put in KAUG, will that work? No, I didn't like that. Vatcord, subscribe, prefix, KAUG, enter. Added. You guys see that? So I've just added this to the bottom of the page. I put in / because that's the command. Vatcord is the bot that the lads created. Subscribe, and then I'm putting in the ICAO code. Let's put in another one, right? So we're going to put the / in, type in Vatcord, subscribe. See this guy here? Click on this, and let's put in, KBOS. That's Boston Logan, massive international airport. Let's horse that one in, and it says subscriptions added. So now I have all of these. These are being added to me. When these stations come online on the internet, on VATSIM, I'll get a DM notification from Discord to say, hey, this fella has just come online. And this is what it looks like. See here? So if I'm looking at Shannon or Dublin or whatever, I get a DM instantly to say the controller is now online on that frequency. This is brilliant. And this is made by Gibbo and Rambog. Pair of geniuses in the mist, right? And that's available for you guys too. All you need to do is come on over to our Discord page, and you can follow the arrivals, follow the instructions on how to join. Basically, lads, all you need to do, you click on the shamrock and the whole thing will open up. There's a shamrock there behind me, mallet, look. So once you log in, click on the shamrock and all should be good in the hood, we think. Does it need further clarification, or are you happy enough now with that? We should be happy. We should be happy. So, VATSIM Radar is a good tool. Yes, you can also use that as well. What's handy about the Discord stuff, you'll get a notification when somewhere opens. All right. Let's continue. So, getting started. There's no need to pre-schedule or set up time to fly, though you will need to check with ATC to ensure that they can cover your entire flight before you get started. Now, you can also use the expected ATC coverage, which is on their homepage. You can click on that. See this expected ATC? So we can see that Albany is going to be live on Wednesday between 8 and 2100. Boston and Bangor, westbound. So you can kind of see where they're planning the ATC coverage is going to be. Yeah? You get the idea. All right? Okay. Moving on. To participate in Wings, you must be a member of Boston Virtual. We've done that. Able to connect to as a pilot to VATSIM. We're going to be using vPilot. Again, if you don't know what vPilot is or how to make it work, well, all you need to do is go into the TTM Ground School document and we'll go into online flying or connectivity. So we'll click on connectivity and this will show you vPilot or X-Pilot if you're going to be using X-Plane. And if you just click on the little picture here for vPilot, this should somewhere open up. Where's the link? Control and click to follow the link. Balls. That should be opening a link somewhere. Or maybe it is. Did it open a link? It'll open a link anyway when you have it there. All right. All right. Back down here to this page that I was doing, which is around here. Is it? There. Right. Capable of operating the aircraft they choose to fly in the network. We've covered this on the very first lesson we did, and I keep reminding folks, right? The aircraft you choose Don't pick something because it looks very fancy and everyone else is flying it. Pick an aircraft you are most comfortable flying. And what I mean by that is you know how to fly it. You know how to operate its autopilot. You're not going to, crash. You're not going to stall it. You're very comfortable and you have some experience with that aircraft. A lot of the time, folks are going to go with something like a Cessna 172 or a 182. You basically pick something you are most familiar with. Now, that can be an airliner. Of course it can, but not for the VF4 stuff. VF4 is going to be general aviation. When you go on to the IF4, by all means, throw an airliner at it, but I would still highly recommend general aviation. Starting off, all right? And then using full voice capability. Text only or receive only pilots won't be able to complete all the test standards. However, if you need to use text or receive capabilities when you fly, just drop Boston Virtual an email and they'll try and figure out something for you. All right? All right. How do we participate? How do we do the gadget? First, we determine the ratings we wish to fly. There's an index page we can have a look at, so we choose what we want. Read the materials. There's a lot of information that Boston Virtual provide in addition to what we provide. Ensure that you have ATC available. All right. So we'll try and figure that one out. As I said, Evan is going to see what he can do. There's no need to sign up in advance or pre-schedule your rating. Just connect. So you're not necessarily waiting for an event. If you see ATC is online, you can say, hey, brilliant, I'm off to do my wings. The beauty of all of this, as soon as that controller who operates in the New England area, once they hear you say wings, they know they're dealing with a student pilot. That's so terribly important because they're going to give you a little bit more space. They're going to give you a little bit more time. They know you're learning. They're not expecting, the shit-hot accuracy that is sometimes required inside a busy airspace. They know you're learning. All right. Now, common sense will always prevail. Don't jump on in the middle of an event where they've 100 departures and 200 arrivals, because you won't get a word in edgeways. The whole point of this is time it in such a way that, it's not terribly busy, right? And the controllers, once they hear wings, well, they know what the crack is, right? Usually when I hear the word wings, I'm off to dinner, right, Heisenberg? Naughty Gnome says, super important. If you know your plane, it'll make it so much easier. You'll have a lot to think about with ATC, and you don't want to be thinking about how do I do X or Y in the plane. 100%. 100%. Confirm with the first controller you'll encounter via voice transmission that ATC will be able to monitor your flight. You request the wings flight and frequency before or during a request for clearance because ATC need to pay special attention to wings flights. In rare circumstances, controllers might be too busy. They might say, sorry, buddy, I'm too busy. Try again tomorrow. That can happen. And don't worry about it. They're not having a go at you. They're not giving out to you. They're just telling you where they're at. All right. File a flight plan if required. Enter wings VF4 and a flight number, or wings IF4 and a flight number. You'll know which flight number to use because they're published in the remarks section of your flight plan, because the ATC controller, they can see your flight plan. They'll see the remarks. They can understand what's happening there, yeah? Complete the flight while complying with the listed test standards to the best of your ability. ATC will monitor your performance and they might give you feedback throughout the flight. You could be flying along and next thing you know, you need to hang your left, you big E, just right, they might. So don't be worried if they do. You may also wish to announce that you are flying wings IF4 each time you check in with a different controller. Using that word wings, all the controllers in this entire area, they know you're a student pilot. This is so vitally important because a lot of time, if we jump onto Dublin, Adam knows us by now. He knows us. He knows our call signs. But if you want to fly into Heathrow or you want to go somewhere else, they don't know if you're learning or if you're a student or you need a little bit more time. By letting the folks in this region know that you're doing wings, well, this is their course. And again, in the very rarest of occasions, if they're busy, they'll tell you, sorry, but I can't deal with this tonight. I'm too busy. Don't be upset if that happens. You know what I mean? Corrupt Cow, welcome in. Now, earning your rating. Once you arrive at your destination airport, speak to air traffic control. to determine whether or not you pass the rating. Now, communication with ATC not required for Wings Preflight 1 and Preflight 2. Remember, we're doing this tonight. The controller may also provide some feedback, right? If you pass, ATC will update your pilot rating. Normally, they'll do it straight away. Allow up to 24 hours for the update to take place. And if you don't see any update after you complete it, we'll just drop a little email to wings at BVA or TCC or TCC.com for assistance. All the information is here, lads. After completing a Wings over New England flight, you can move to the next one immediately, whether or not your rating has been assigned. So if you have, the next 5 days off and you want to do flight after flight after, you absolutely can. Or if you can only do one flight a week, you can do that as well. Do you see what I'm trying to do? It's structured this in such a way that you're not restricted when it comes to when you want to actually do the flying. And the beauty behind this is, lads, when you're flying online with the network, that's you learning how to fly in the US. Yes, all the backup information that we have here, this is here to kind of answer any of the questions or say, Jesus, why did I do that now? Or how do I do this? That's where this stuff comes in. The flying element is done through Boston Virtual. All right. Now, where is this one? If you make a mistake during your flight, don't panic. It's a learning orientated program and there are no real failures. If you acknowledge the error, ATC will likely give you another chance or at least make sure that you understand what should have been done differently. BVA's controllers are not monitoring your flight to fail you if you make a mistake. The goal is you will learn something from each and every rating. Any Wings over New England flight can be flown when Boston Centre is online. However, we encourage you to plan your flights to experience as much air traffic control availability as possible. When you see ATC online at one of the satellite airports like Nantucket or Portland, chances are it's a newer controller. Flying to or from their airports, it helps them develop their skills, which is great for us. And it also develop the skills needed to make it to controlling at Boston, which is a great gesture of support. Yeah, everyone wants to control in Boston. Every Wings over New England flight includes an alternate airports section listing other than those listed on the flight, and that'll allow you to meet the test standards. If you don't see any local ATC coverage, like a tower or ground, online at the published airports, consider planning your flights for airports that do have the coverage. So try and plan it that you're flying in and out of places that have ATC coverage online. Again, we can chat about all of this as we're moving forward with Evan. When you're ready to get started, visit the flights page to have a look at the different flights that we can do. Now, this is savage. There's a 3-part pre-flight check, as I said. We're going to do the first 2, and then let's see what the third one does. This is where you get to choose your experience. You have the complete experience. That will do the entire program start to finish. Or you might just want to do the VA4 course, which is parts 1 to 6. You might only want to focus on the airline flying, which is the 1 to 5, 14 to 16, 21 to 22, and 24. You get the idea. Or maybe you just want to do the complex IF4, or you want to do GPS nav stuff, radio navigation, or nav. All right. And the beauty about all of this is if you find or you feel that you're getting a little bit rusty down the track, you can say, do you know what? I'm going to go back and do the ORNAV Wings course again. And you could be completely qualified as a pilot and you're very comfortable flying, but you might be just out of a bit of practice. Yeah, I'm going to do this again. Just make sure, this happens in the real world, by the way. Real world pilots have to do this sort of stuff annually. And they do it on simulators. Most of it is around failures and emergencies. But to stay current, they have to fly. If they can't fly, they got to go back into their sim and they got to fly some of this. Some FAA approved simulators, most of them I know from, a civilian simulator, it's actually powered by X-Plane. Fact, they can actually get their currency built up by using X-Plane simulators. But that doesn't mean you just have X-Plane. It's the X-Plane Pro, but it's being ran on an FAA approved simulator. Like Virtual Fly. You ever hear the hardware guys, Virtual Fly? They make FAA approved hardware. You get the idea, right? Anyway, to give you an idea, the VA4 flights, traffic patterns, VA4 navigation, Class B airspace, entering and exiting, a cross-country flight, and then a Boston Class B helicopter route. The final Wings over New England flight takes place from Nashua Airport back to Boston using a published helicopter route to transition into Class B. Now, don't worry, helicopters, we didn't sign up for this. It's only the type of route. You can fly fixed wing in a helicopter route. Don't worry. It even says it here. Contrary to the name, helicopter routes at Boston are also used by fixed wing. All right? Then we get on to the IF4. Introduction to IF4. They'll give us VOR navigation, variable omnidirectional range, or variable, yeah, that's right. Airways, tech routes, stars, approaches for untowered stuff, non-precision stuff, ILS approaches, obstacle departure procedures, and circling approaches. That's mad. What might be, you know, an obstacle departure procedure? If you're taking off from a runway, what might be an obstacle that is published in your departure? Think about it now. What do you think might be? Oh, Jesus, there's an obstacle. It could be a radio tower. Yes, very good. What else? Think about it now. There's an obstacle in your way. What could an obstacle be near an airport? A tower, absolutely, yes. Wind turbine, yes. Very high omnidirectional radio beacon. Wait, what? Very high omnidirectional radio beacon. VOR. Omnidirectional range. Omnidirectional beacon. Iceberg, you are correct. Yes. Very high omnidirectional radio beacon, I think. Beacon? A power plant. A mountain. A mountain! One of the biggest ones. A mountain. There could be a mountain that you have to clear. Yeah? Could be a city, a built-up area. Power lines. Of course, all of the above. All of the above. All right? Missed approach. They're always great crack. Hold entries. RNAV, and then using your FMC. High altitude airways. What else do we have here that'll be really tricky? Into the mountains, right? IFR mountain flying, airspace and arrivals, weather, deviations and emergency management, circle to land, and then we have chartered visual flight procedures. These are all the flights we are going to be doing. I'm going to do them all, and I hope you're going to do them too, because again, we can spend as much time prepping for each lesson, yeah, or flight, or you can absolutely blitz it and then see what happens. It's entirely up to you. All right, just don't be a menace. If you're in Egypt, lads, bad things happen. If you're in Egypt, don't be in Egypt. Everything else is going to be grand. All right. So, Lazy Livestream's good to see you. So, what we have here, the pilot ratings. Then you can go in then and have a look. Only available to members. Oh balls! I need to log in because we can have a look at some of the ratings, right? And I'll show you where I'm at, just so we all know we're all doing this together, right? So you'll see a list of all the names and how many of these flights they've done, right? There's me. Look, Murphy. I've only done 1 and 2. So I want us all to get up there together, all right? And then you'll see the Wings graduates. Who's done all of these so far? Rob Sherman, that's Slant Alpha. You guys know Slant Alpha, right? Anyway, so what we're going to do, we'll go back in here to flights, and I'm going to see pre-flight 1, and that's going to go through the resources. So part 1, I want us all to do this now. Part 1, all right? Welcome to BVA. The initial pre-flight check is going to walk us through the community resources, and we'll begin to prepare you for your first flight on the VATSIM network. Okay, what do we need to do here? Before continuing, let's make sure we have completed the following. We have an account with VATSIM. We know our VATSIM SID and password because we've registered, and you're familiar with the basics of flying your simulator offline, i.e. you're able to spawn an aircraft, fly some very basic IF4 and VF4 flights, and follow instructions from ATC. Yes. By completing these items, you're ready to proceed through configuring your simulator and connecting it to the VATSIM network. Before we dive into connecting and flying, let's take some time to make sure you're familiar with Boston Virtual's resources. At-home flight simulation can be overwhelming, even without the additional thrill of flying online. If you are feeling a little overloaded or yourself in need of assistance, there's plenty of places you can go to find more help. There's loads of help. You can use the BVA website. You can connect with the community ourselves. Boston Virtual, they use things like Discord and there's forums, right? And then it explains there's 3 platforms when we connect: Discord, TeamSpeak, and the forums. Now, TeamSpeak, it's a program to download. It's a way we used to do a lot of the ATC stuff back in the day. All right. DJ Seamus, thank you very much indeed. So how do we get our credit for the first pre-flight? Okay. This section applies to BVA members who wish to receive credit for completing this pre-flight. All we need to do, we need to go to their Discord. Yeah? So click on the link. Like other Discord service, you can type in the /key to access what it is you need to do. Yeah? So, when we click on the link, we're going to come to this page here. This is Boston Virtual's page, right? And when you land in here, all you need to do is click on that command /part 1. Yeah? And when you do that, it should respond to you to say, welcome to BVA. All right? Oh, look, people reacted. And you put your name in there. Notification. Who's coming online? Dublin South Tower. Brilliant. But you get the idea, look. So I want everyone to do that now. I want everyone to do that now. Ramble on over to the Boston Virtual BVA Discord, yeah? And I want you to join their Discord. By doing so, that's going to give you access to the pre-flight part 1 cert. I'm going to get you up and going. All right. It says here, to do so, navigate to the intro getting started channel, type /part 1 and hit enter. It'll trigger an automated result in the issuance of your credit. After doing so, we encourage you to send additional messages. Just say hi and whatever else. Yeah. Is anyone stuck, or are you happy enough with that? Is that fairly straightforward, lads? Are you happy enough with that? Because, as I said, for the practical flying, that is what we're going to be using. All right? Okay. We shall continue on a little bit further. The next step is going to configure your simulator and download the necessary programs in order to connect to VATSIM. Now, we should have that done already. You click on what sim you have. I'm using Microsoft Flight Sim. You can use X-Plane. Part 2 of the pre-flight checks will guide Microsoft Flight Sim users through preparing for simulators. This is where it comes down to setting up your sim, as in how do you get your sim set up so the ATC voices from the sim are turned off. Also, it goes through... I have to register on BVA another time. It requires 2 essay answers. What? It shouldn't, Schultz. What you do? Once you're on VATSIM, it should just connect, man. It'll also set up and give you information about whatchamacallit, model matching and all that kind of jazz. So have a read down through that, right? I'm going to be so far behind. It's going to take at least a week before I get back online. Don't worry, Kazaki. The course we're doing, we're only starting it next week. And what we're going to do next week is making sure that everyone is connected. Maybe they've done flights, maybe they haven't. But you get to go at your pace. So there's no panic here, lads. Don't be thinking, oh, I don't have time and I won't be able to do all of this. It's going to be grand. We'll take our time with this. All right? We'll take our time with this. So this one here, it's going through setting up your simulator, making sure that the various assistances are turned off. The ATC voices and audio stuff within the sim are turned off. And there's a couple of options there. How to download vPilot, how to configure. You need to validate yourself with an essay before you can. Step 5 of the registration after the little exam. Is that on VATSIM, Schutz? Or is it on Boston Virtual? How do you configure vPilot? How do you get all the bits and bobs done? It's a full read by, step by step, read it, tutorial on how to set it up. Yeah. How to install FSLTL. That's going to give you your base models, some model matching with VATSIM, and so on and so forth. All right. I promise you, lads, there's not actually an awful lot to this. It looks like it's quite overwhelming. It's really not. There's a step by step. Once everything's set up, it's tickety-boo. So and if anyone's stuck, there's our Discord. Put the hand up. I'm stuck. How do I do this? All right. Scenery, all the jazz is there, and then we move on. Once you are configured, we want to go to this part here, your nav data, which is going to be important, right? Navigraph, I always recommend Navigraph when it comes to the online flying. You want to have the up-to-date charts. Do you know what I mean? So if anyone's ever stuck, just ask the question. There's quite a good few of us who fly in VATSIM. You won't be stuck. We've a full group of lads who fly every week on VATSIM. You won't be stuck. And we all started at the same point, not knowing a thing about anything. You know, the clouds scared us. So don't worry. There's no such thing as a stupid question, you know, unless it's Muse fan asking it. Right? What? Who did he say it out loud? I'm only messing Muse fans. You know we love you. But anyway, right. So how do we get our
Hello there.
gadget? We want to skip here. Refer to 2B if you're X-plane. If you have all this done, move directly to part 3. Where is this now? Simulator setup. That's grand. We did the sim setup. ATC, we did all that. Configuring vPilot, we've done all that. Model matching, we've done all that. And then our nav data. Grand. So, where was the yoke about TeamSpeak? TeamSpeak is important. It explains what TeamSpeak is in here, lads. Yeah? BVA members who wish to receive their credit for this flight need to do the TeamSpeak server. If not, you can find it here. You need to get TeamSpeak for this one. This is important. Boston Virtual's member TeamSpeak server is available as a social voice platform to all members. This is basically a voice system that will allow you... Where do I have mine? This will allow you to speak directly to controllers and other pilots from the Boston Virtual. So it's saying here there's no server. So I want to connect. It's going to say, who do you connect to? The information, lads, if you want to know, you download TeamSpeak, right? This is ancient, but it works really well. Connect. The information's here. The nickname is going to be BVA. The client name, that's your name, yeah, nickname, and then the password. So when we connect, it's now connected, right? And you can see here now what it is we need to do. So it says here, we do not recommend to use current still development. Yeah, so it's TS3, TeamSpeak 3, right? The TeamSpeak server nickname, address, and password is intended for members only. Don't share the information with anyone from outside the community. That's fairly straightforward. All right. Once you connect your name to the Boston Virtual ARTCC, you'll automatically get the second rating. You'll automatically get it. Boom, straight in there, no messing. All right? So have a look at that, read through it, and then see how you get on. Okay? Okay. That's part 2 complete. Finally, then, we move on to part 3. Now, part 3, this is during the pre-flight check. We'll take everything we've learned thus far and make final simulator preparations, then connect to our simulators on the VATSIM network. Prior to spawning on an aircraft into the sim and connecting to VATSIM, you want to be sure of a few preps. All your simulator multiplayer traffic that's not on VATSIM is turned off. Default or other third-party add-ons for ATC are turned off. Simulated failures are turned off. And use real-world weather and time of day. Grand. All you need to do here is you connect to VATSIM, provided there's VATSIM coverage somewhere inside their FIR. Let's have a gawk. VATSIM radar got a beefy update. Okay, so there's no one on. Oh, there is. Portland is on. It's only ATIS. So I don't see anyone else here. I don't see any controllers here or controls. Yeah. So it's once you see the areas light up at ATC, then you can jump. All right. And all you need to do is, it tells you, right? Goes through all the call signs, how to set them up. It explains everything. Just read the gadget step by step. Then here, file your flight plan. That's all grand. Who do I talk to? Controllers. These will tell you. Inside the ZBW airspace. Once you've completed it, click file the flight plan. That's all grand. Active controllers. That's all grand. Where is this now? Towards the very bottom. To obtain your credit, all you need to do, connect to VATSIM, communicate over voice with ATC to ensure that things are working properly. Tune to a BVA controller's radio frequency. Verbally request credit for Wings Preflight 3. So you would give this. Approach down a Portland. The red circle is controller. You put in your call sign. So if it is, for example, Portland, you would put in you know, port and ground, November 123 Alpha Bravo. They'll respond and you'll say, you know, requesting credit for wings pre-flight 3. They'll then come back to you and say, yeah, that's grand, done and dusted. That makes sense? Or makes sense? If anyone's stuck with this, just let us know. That is the pre-flight. Done, dusted. Your pre-flight is now done. Now you're ready to start. All right? The first one, very simple, over to Discord. The second bit of jiggery pokery, it's with their TeamSpeak. The third one, connecting to VATSIM, talking to a Boston controller or Boston Virtual New England controller and say, "Hi, can I have the third gadget, please?" And that's it. That's your pre-flight done. Now you can move on to the actual flying, which we're going to start, as I said, maybe next week or the week after. And there's no panic, there's no race. You can do this as fast as you like or as slow as you like. The traffic pattern is what we're going to be doing, and they recommend something like a Cessna 172 or a Cherokee or whatever. Before flying, ensure you have the airport diagram available and that the weather is suitable for a VFR flight. Click on VFR 1. Here you get the briefing for each and every flight. This is why this is handy. What is the TeamSpeak requirement for? I think they just want it so they can, if they need to, they can coach you. Or if you have any questions, rather than using their Discord voice, they use TeamSpeak. Don't know why. I don't envisage me using it. I have it. I know it's there. But maybe a controller might say, listen, jump onto TeamSpeak, we'll get you sorted. Do you know what I mean? That's probably why. Some ATC guys still use TeamSpeak. They still use that program. Discord tends to be used a lot more now, but like, you know. Anyway, this explains the whole shebang look. So are we happy enough with this? To tell you what to say, how to say it? That's exactly why ZFW uses TeamSpeak. Yeah, it's used quite a bit. It's right. We're saying TeamSpeak. Mr. Chippy is getting all nostalgic with friggin' ICQ and right. Sometimes he just has a recording of the internet dial-up sound. Rambog says TeamSpeak was used a lot for controller coordination. Some have switched to Discord. Many are still on TeamSpeak. There you go, lads. It's used for controller to controller communications. Are we going on MSN Messenger? It's gas when you think about it. There's maybe something you didn't know. The use of TeamSpeak, it's still used quite a bit, especially when it comes to controllers talking to controllers. It's mad, isn't it? Mad. But anyway, that is the first one. We'll do all this next week. In the meantime, I want to bring you over to Sky Vector. Again, all the links for this stuff, they're in our ground school document. Because, friends, we're going to do a quick flight here now. We're going to go from KAUG, which is Augusta State, right? And I want to ramble up to Bangor, KGB. Is it KG or KB? KBGR. KBGR. Bangor International. Now, friends, let's have a look at this. Because this mad-looking thing here, is a VFR sectional chart. Ooh, he said. We don't have this in Europe, not to this degree. All right. So what we're going to look at here is we're going to do a little flight, 51 nautical miles. All right. And we need to start understanding what in the name of all are all these little icons and little buttons do. We don't know what anything means. How do we decipher all of this information? Well, I'm going to try and help you, right? So, where is this now? I hid it somewhere. It's in here, look. So I've this over on our Discord. This here is the legend for your gadget. This is the legend. This shows you what all the bits and bobs actually mean on the VFR sectionals, right? That's available over on our Discord. You can grab it, have a look at it, save it somewhere handy. This is your cheat sheet. This explains to you what things are. So by using this, we're going to move this to here and we're going to have a look. So we've chosen an airfield, Augusta State Airport. This is where we're currently situated in the sim. We want to fly a VFR route, even though the weather is crap. We're going to fly VFR and we want to ramble up to Bangor International Airport. Now, what can we kind of see from the map here? Well, we have these kind of circles around it. But then we have these kind of shaded areas, yeah? See the way there's all these different kind of circles around airports? And then there's this big, heavy red kind of magenta color. What the hell does that all mean? Well, let's go in and have a look. Only the controlled and reserved airspace effective below 18,000 feet are shown on the chart. So this one here, see that magenta line right there, lads, yeah? It's a Class C. It's Charlie airspace, right? Charlie airspace. Okay, so that's Class C we need to fly into. All right, well, how do we fly into Class C? Glad you asked. That's where our entire manual is going to come up. Because later on in life, I'll bring this up full screen so you can kind of get an idea of what it is, look. I'll explain all of this in our upcoming ground school document. How do we fly in and out? What are the differences between all of these different airports? Yeah. What flight levels can we be at? The differences in ATC communication, Europe versus the United States. The difference in airspace classifications. So this is the full rundown of what our ground school document is going to help you out with. Yeah. Special use airspace, that's later on in life. Flight rules. So Class C, 3, this is your weather minimum, it looks like. So weather minimums for a Class Charlie, 3 square miles visibility. 500 feet below, 1,000 foot above, 2,000 foot horizontal. That's the weather minimum, right? Instrument flight rules, IF4, not worried about that for the moment. Procedural differences. Airspace classifications. So it's a medium-sized airport. That's what Class C is. Medium-sized airport. Two-way communication is required before entry. And we need to make sure that we have a transponder. Very similar in Europe. All right. What else do we need here now? ATC communications, that's all grand. That's all grand. Understanding phraseology, that's all grand. A little bit later on, just to give you an idea, some of the differences with radio telephony, voice procedure, they are the same, but different. We'll figure all this out together. Don't worry about it, lads. There's loads of writing, but just to explain what things are. Common ATC instructions, that's all grand. That's all grand. Overview of VATSIM, that's grand. How to transition from European flying, that's all grand for the moment. One thing very important, savage important, one of the first lessons we're going to learn. The flight level and your altimeter setting when flying in the US is very different than what it is in Europe. And the good news is it's simple. It's simple. All right. You only change the baro to standard, standard baro, 2, 9 or 9 or 2 or, 13 or 10, 14, whatever it is. Yeah. Standard. You only change that on your altimeter when you go above 18,000 feet. Flight level 180. None of this 5,000 or 7,000 or transitions or none of that. Everything under 18,000 feet, anything under that, you're keeping to the local baro. You only go to standard once you're above 18,000 feet. Brilliant, right? Anyway, I want to go and have a look at this. Class C airspace. It surrounds medium-sized airports. It has 2 layers, the core area and the shelf area. We need two-way radio communications. We must establish that with ATC before we enter the area. C transponder, you're going to have that anyway. No explicit clearance required, just once you have two-way communications. How do you enter a Class C? You tune to the approach or tower frequency, you call ATC, you give them your direction, you request VA4 entry. So the way we did it in Ireland, request zone entry. For this, request ATC or request VA4 entry. Yeah. They'll give you a squawk code and then they'll say you can now enter the Class Charlie or so on. I've explained each of the different airspaces and how do we get in and out of it. All right. Then we've other rules later on. Entry requirements. Where is this now? Class B. No, Class C. Can I get in? Yeah, you can get in. If ATC does not acknowledge your call sign, don't go into the Class Charlie. If they don't give you permission, just don't go in. All right? You get the idea. Anyway, our flight, let's get in and plan this little gadget here, shall we? So this is Sky Vector, which is free. I'm going to use Navigraph. We're bringing out the big guns. I'm going to use Navigraph on this. And for this, I'm going to show you my flight, right? That was the other day. So we're going to do a new flight. Do I have it saved? No. So it's going to be KAUG and it's going to be over to KBGR, was it? That's our flight there. With Navigraph, we can turn this on to FAA sectionals. Brilliant. We can see the whole shagging thing. All right. So again, let's have a look. Now, do you know the way we were talking about CTAF versus Unicom? We'll learn more about the differences now later on in this course. But just so we know, in America, especially when it came to VATSIM, they have changed or added CTAF, right? Basically, instead of going on to Unicom 122.8, which you can use that for your en route stuff, when you want to talk to people at a particular airport, and what I mean, you're not talking to the tower, you're talking to CTAF. How you will identify a CTAF station. On the VFR sectional chart, you have this box here of information, yeah? See this box here of information? I can't draw on this part. Navigraph, you need to let me do me annotations on this bit.
there.
You have information up here. See the way it says Augusta State, ASOS, 118.325, and so on and so forth, yeah? What we need to look at. Do you see where it has a C? It looks like the copyright sign. Mike, thank you for the follow. See that C? Yeah? And then there's a frequency beside it, 123.0. That's the CTAF frequency. Okay, let's look for another one. Here's one down here, look. Knox County. Do you see the C? Yeah? The frequency on this CTAF is 123.05. AWOS is the automated weather observation. That's a different frequency. Don't worry about that at all. You want this one. It's for CTAF. Basically, it's the local frequency for pilots to talk to pilots. This is vitally important because if it's uncontrolled, this is where you got to do your homework. You got to say, Jesus, what's the frequency I need to be tuned in on? Belfast Municipal, same crack again. You find the C, 122.975. See the way they all change? Yeah, there's other stuff, and we'll learn all about this stuff later on in life. You might have seen it before. You have an AWOS. It's going to give you the longest runway length. It's going to let you know if there's lighting at the airport. Yeah, and that could be pilot-controlled lighting. But you get the idea. If you're flying into an airport and you need to know what the actual frequencies are, well, that's a different kettle of fish. So in this case, we can look at the charts here for Augusta State, and then we can look at, for instance, the radio communications. So Unicom for Augusta State is going to be CTAF, and then you're going to see the clearance delivery. So they have clearance, so we've got to be talking to Portland, but there's no tower or ground service. All right, that's grand. Go back here one, and let's go on up then and have a look at Bangor. Yeah. So in Bangor, who can we talk to? Communications. So we have approach, brilliant. Clearance, departure, ground, and we have a tower as well. So Bangor is a controlled airport. We're going to leave an uncontrolled airport and we're going to go to a controlled airport. However, because we're flying in this area, there is a departure frequency, or sorry, a clearance delivery we need to speak to. All right, makes total sense. So we're going to do this flight. Now, here's the thing, lads. When it comes to VFR, if I didn't make any change to that straight line, see the way we're going to be entering different airspaces along the way? Now, we can once we ask permission in a lot of times, or we need to report it. But the beauty about this is, well, let's change things here a little. Why don't we do something like this? So we stay out and away of VFR. We stay out and away from other airspaces. Do you get the idea? You get the idea? All right. So with that said, we're going to now do a flight from Augusta up to Bangor. And to help me out here, because I don't have ATC frequencies online, we're going to use say intentions. And again, it's just a great learning tool, right? So let's see what happens here. So let's connect. I won't do the update just yet, and let's just see what we can do. So new flight. So I'm going to talk to say intentions here now in a moment. I'm going to move that guy to the side. We're going to jump into our little plane here. We're in a Cessna 182 RG. We're going to remove some stuff. Static elements be gone. Now, the nice thing about this is a lot of, in the United States, most of the time, you don't need to request engine start. If you're IF4 and you're on a stand or at the gate, yeah, well, that's different. But if you're just general aviation, the first thing we do, we want to listen into the weather, what's happening, and then we want to figure out, who do we need to talk to next, all right? So I'm going to start getting my airplane up and rolling. Parking brake needs to be on, fuel tank is on, prop is full, mixture rich, and we'll go ahead and get our battery turned on, right? We'll go ahead and put on our nav and our beacon light. Quick look around. Yes, all looking good here. Open the window. All right. I'll say clear prop. Pump coming on, and let's go for a start on our little engine here. Alright. Go start in the engine, go ahead and get our alternator turned on. And we want avionics next. Avionics coming online. I'm using my beautiful GTN 750. And nav and beacon light is running. And we just let the aircraft kind of tick over here now. So I can see from the charts that I can tune to the ATC
4000 expect vectors for the visual 24.
118.325.
Expecting vectors for the visual 2469er Sierra Mike.
118.325. Transfer.
LE. Sky conditions. Few at 300 feet.
Have a listen to this.
Solid overcast at 700 feet. Temperature -1. Dew point -2. Altimeter 2984. Density altitude -1400 feet. Augusta State Airport, automated surface observation. 2149er Zulu. Wind 070 at 4. Visibility 1/2 mile. Sky conditions, few at 300 feet.
So we're getting the idea, right?
Solid overcast.
Now, because this area has a departure frequency, a clearance frequency, we need to go to 119er 9er 119er 9er.
Density altitude -1400 feet.
Okay. So now we need to talk to Portland, right? And what we're going to ask them is, we're going to give them our name, we're going to tell them where we are, and we're going to look for a VFR flight. I'm going to give them the altitude. I want to fly at 5,500 up to Bangor. Let's see what happens, right? All it can do is give out to us. Man, Chihuahua, thank you very much indeed. Portland, November 235 Romeo Mike. Request VFR clearance to Bangor, 5,500. Let's see what happens. It could tell us to shag
I'll
off.
grab that clearance. Give me just a minute.
So I'm asking for VFR, yeah? Jay, did I say VFR clearance? Can't remember now. It should be VFR.
5 Romeo Mike, cleared to Bangor via the MESA 1 departure. Then as filed, climb and maintain 8,000. Departure on 128.35, squawk 4676. Expect runway 22 left.
Right, I made a balls of that. I never said VFR, so we'll ask him now for VFR. I'm just going to cancel that. I forgot to say VFR. Alright, give it a second. Portland clearance, November 235 Romeo Mike. VFR request, Bangor, 5,500. Sounds like Bangor. Bangor! Let's see if it figures it out. So basically what we're asking is, hey, we want to fly VFR.
5 Romeo Mike, cleared VFR to Bangor. Maintain VFR at or below 5,500 feet. Departure on 128.35, squawk 6326. Expect runway 26.
Okay. Cleared VFR to Bangor. Maintain VFR at or below 5,500. Departure on 128.35. Squawk 6326. Will expect runway 26, 5 Romeo Mike. Now, with say intentions, you can change.
Romeo Mike, read back correct.
With say intentions, you can change the level of experience that you have. If you can tell say intentions, hey, I'm brand new shampoo to all of this. It's not going to be fast. It's not going to be a stickler on your voice procedure. It's going to be very lenient. Or you can say, no, I'm a friggin' genius, man, and then you're right, it'll have the crack with you. But we'll see. Beardy McWhiskey, good to see you. All right, so I didn't need to ask permission to start up, right? He's given me a departure frequency, which is going to be 128.35. But I need to go to CTAF. Because, well, there's no one else to freaking talk to, yeah? There's no tower. So, CTAF on this one is 123.0. 123.0. 123.0. Enter that. Transfer them over. Augusta ground. You have a Cessna taxiing from the ramp to runway 26, Augusta. Alright. You listen out. Is there anyone else talking to me? There's someone else on CTAF. Alright, off the brake. Bit of power. Now, what did we say it was? Runway 26, wasn't it? Hard right. Hard. And we'll probably... Wait now, how far? Jason, to go all the way. All the way around the town. Don't mind me at all, lads. The good thing in Say Intentions, yes, it does show the full chat history on the screen, which is brilliant. You don't need to worry about writing stuff down. But we need to go this way. I think it's this way. Bit of photogrammetry here is a bit of crack as well. Stu, you take care of my dude. So there's someone else on the frequency, yeah? So our departure frequency needs to be on 128.35. Now we can do a run up here, but let's just brighten this little fella up here a little bit. Come up the road, will you, so we can actually see what we're doing. There we go. There we go. Right. And we can do a direct to here just to make life easy so we know what we're doing. Select a waypoint. It's going to be KBGR. Bangor. There we go. Something like that. Alright. So we're heading out towards the active. But we'll announce because we're on CTAF, yeah? We're just talking to other pilots. Now I can hear that there was another pilot there. Yeah, oh, Jesus, look at the bump here. Augusta, you got a Cessna departing runway 26. Departure to the south. Augusta. Notch your flaps. Now I've put in 5,500 feet onto me autopilot. Right is clear, left is clear, onto the run. All our lights are on, we're walking and talking and squawking.
Charlie 3901, midfield, departure, downwind departure.
Alright, so once we take off, we'll talk to departure. And remember, it's via 4. Alright? Wonder why it's usual to repeat the airport name at the end. So, great question, Mr. Tippy. The reason why you repeat the facility name at the end of your sentence, let's say, for example, someone's flying into the area and they hear chatter, but they don't know who they're talking to. See, as a pilot, you'll say Augusta or that facility at the start. You'll also say it at the end in case they just said, hey, wait, was that for me? Once they hear Augusta, oh, Jesus. Hey, say that again. I'm flying there. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's see what happens. What are we doing here? Reset that. Reset this. And let's fly. Augusta, Cessna taking off runway 26, departure to the south, Augusta. Alright, takeoff power set. There's no real phraseology when you're on like Unicom or CTAF. So don't worry if you make mistakes. There's nothing scripted. Just try and get the information out there as best you can. Positive rate, gear up. Easy now. We're going to jump over to departure now. Easy now. Portland departure, November 235 Romeo Mike, 1000 for 5500 via 4 Bangor.
November 235 Romeo, Mike, Portland departure, radar contact.
Sweet. All right, we're via 4, so we don't need to ask, hey, can we go here or go there? We just need to make sure we're staying out of, you know, someone else's frequency, you know? I hear some guys giving out an essay on Unicom or CTAF. It's very frustrating. Keep it very simple. Be clear what you're saying, but just keep it simple, you know? The closed caption takes your VF4 as VF4. Yeah. Don't worry about that at all. Now the beauty here is with your maps, you're able to see where the whatchamacallit, where the airspaces are. You know what I mean? Top Control, good to see you, man. It's that Welsh accent, right? Now see the way we're dealing with clouds, we can't really fly at clouds. So one must be careful not to fly into frigging clouds. So we'll keep an eye on those. We were saying 5,500 feet. It's grand. So I'm not overly worried now because we have flight following. We've already spoken to departure and they have us on radar. Alright? Yeah, this is the 182 RG. We'll be checking out the Q variant on Friday. Alright, we're looking good. So we're 20 minutes out.
Field at 1800 feet, heading 201. Vassalboro altimeter 29.901.
Easy now, Jemima. And at this stage, we're just flying, right? So we can probably go autopilot now, take the pressure off ourselves. So if we fly heading mode, and we want to V-speed this gadget here now, so we're going to go up 5. Autopilot on. Heading mode engaged. Altitude. We want to arm 5,500 and V-speed. Let's go 500 feet a minute. Now we actually go 700 feet a minute. So far so good. We're still within the airspace. Now if we wanted to monitor traffic, this is going to be important when we're using the likes of whatchamacallit. This is going to be important when we're using VATSIM. So what we can do on this, we can actually turn on traffic. Now there's a ton of people flying with us who probably aren't flying with ATC, right? There's everyone there. When you're on the ATC network, you'll only see aircraft on your ADS-B populate when they're online. Now, as a pilot, real world or otherwise, your eyes are the #1 thing to help scan for other aircraft outside. As I said, we're VF4, we're flying visual flight rules. Eyes out the window. Next up is going to be the likes of your ADS-B on your avionics. Any sort of traffic alert system that you have. The third line of defense is going to be your ATC. That's going to be either CTAF or it's going to be flight following. So, for example, if ATC said, Murph, you know, there's a plane similar altitude fairly close, they'll tell me to say, hey, be careful, you got another plane at this heading or this location, you got to be careful. Do you know what I mean? Does say intentions have different language included? Yes, it does, Sky Sailor. Yes. Yeah, this is an awesome plane, Lucas. Yeah, really good. So we're climbing up to 5.5. Now the clouds here look a little bit kind of, you know what I'm saying? But I'm using just a few clouds within the sim. Yeah, so we can kind of, you know, and these fellas, you know, let's just pretend it's a nice, beautiful day for flying and, you know, bring the height of these guys up a bit. All right. Something like that.
Contact Boston Center on 134.905.
Was that a Jake Stevens whistle? In the... Right? We are going the wrong way. So, just to show you, because I want to navigate roughly down here and then turn left, the reason for this, lads, I want to make sure that I'm dodging other airspaces. Otherwise, I need to talk potentially to other ATC areas to say, hey, I want to do a thing. So when it comes to our flight planning, and we will spend a lot of time with this, especially when we want to go cross country, because there's going to be certain airspaces we don't want to really encroach on until we have to. Yeah. So this one here, I was using the Razer waypoint. It's going to be a left turn now, and then we're going to fly direct up. So we're coming up on 5,500 feet. I'm now going to do a new direct. We're going to go nav mode, and we're just going to hang a left, level off at 5,000 or 5,500, and then boot straight on, right? You need to talk and annoy as many controllers as you can. That'll all come later. But for example, as a great way to start off, that's why I chose this flight. Especially using something like say intentions. The pressure is off. If you make a mistake, it's grand, you know. But it's getting you used to that extra layer of something to do. You need to talk, but more importantly, you need to listen. And that's outside of your navigation, flying your airplane, you know, keeping things from exploding. That's the whole point. Do you know what I mean? Paul, welcome in. The beauty about all of this as well, any mistakes I make or any mistakes you make, we can help each other out. Feedback is going to be critical to this. Yeah? Feedback is going to be critical. You can say, Murph.
Mike Romeo Mike, contact Portland departure on 119.75.
Over to Portland departure on 119.75, 5 Romeo Mike. There's an ATC handoff. 119.75. Portland departure, November 235 Romeo Mike, 5,500. Let's hear what he has to say.
November 235 Romeo Mike, Portland departure. Good evening, Jefferson altimeter 29.901.
Jefferson altimeter 29.901 for 5 Romeo Mike. Now, if I was flying with real world weather, I'd have to change that. 29.901, I don't need to change it. You know what I mean? But this is where say intentions becomes so handy. You're getting used to that multitasking. You're getting used to, oh crap, I can't just talk to the one guy. I got to stay in contact with loads of different people, right? And the fact that we're simulating flight following. The whole point of this is, lads, well, sure, isn't this only brilliant? We're getting used to it, you know. Nav mode flying via 4, is that normal? Oh yeah. You can fly any L mode. Like nav mode is just saying follow the GPS. That's nav mode. We can go heading if we want. This is just out of handiness that I'm doing this. Like, VF4 doesn't mean you can't fly autopilot. VF4 just means, well, you're using visual flight rules. So you need to make sure that there's enough distance between you, the ground, and the clouds. Yeah? And you're behaving yourself with different airspace. Does the US use VRPs, Christian? Yes, indeed. Lots of them. So, like, again, refer to your charts. Can we find any VRPs in this area? Well, let's go in and have a look. So see the way there's a 4-knot wind that's blowing us slightly off course. Yeah. So we can correct this with a heading. So visual reference points. We got some wind farms over here. We're going to pass those off our left hand side. We got a lake here, but they also have some published VRPs. Yeah. There's published VRPs up here as well. So what I might do, I might actually go heading mode and just correct that course. So before we do it, align the heading bug with our indicator. Slight little turn left because there's a 4-knot wind. And we're going to change from heading to nav. Small little left turn. Just to keep us honest. Yeah? Tiring yourself down is bad piloting. Use automation when possible. Yeah, it's like the old army saying. You know, look, if you can sit, why stand? If you can lie down, why sit? I watch a few VFR pilots in England. We don't have flight following. They say basic service. Yeah, 100%. So they're pretty much the very same thing. You know what I mean? Dr. Sisu, we're only saying that there needs to be a New Ireland, New Caledonia, Nova Scotia, New England, right? New Hampshire. Yeah, there needs to be a New Ireland for sure. But yeah, if you were flying this under ICAO or ICAO, that would be very much a basic service or a radar service. It's pretty much the same thing. Flight following, well, they're following your flight. And we have, like, that's why we're talking to ATC. Now, we can cancel flight following if we wish. We can say, you know, we're okay. We want to cancel flight following. Now, this is something that's incredible with Microsoft Flight Sim because look, outer window on the left-hand side, here's the wind farm, the windmills, and here's that lake. So we know roughly where we are now just by looking out the window. Pretty handy. There is a New Ireland. It's in the South Pacific. Is there though? Is it big? We did a Simwings VFR group flight once with 22 aircraft. VATSIM ATC insisted we all did flight following. We disconnected. You know the place that reminds you most of Ireland? Yeah. Apparently it's in Papua New Guinea. What? Yeah, that makes sense. So lads, just to recap, with the aircraft that you're going to choose to fly, I highly recommend the Cessna 182 RG. Okay, it's a little bit, you have to think a little bit more because you do have the retractable landing gear. But the Mooney is very good as well. Something like the Comanche, I would say use that if you're very comfortable flying it because a lot of stuff that's a living, breathing plane, right? The 182, it flies really well, it looks nice, it sounds nice, and everything works. But there's very little consequence if you break it. Do you know what I mean? DA42, yeah. Something you're comfortable with. Single engine, multi-engine, doesn't matter. Something you are most comfortable with. And the idea behind this is, if you never wanted to do ATC stuff, you know, maybe it's just not your cup of tea, it's still interesting to learn about it because now you know and you'll learn quickly what other folks are talking about. An F-22, right? Yeah, let's use an F-22. Genius. So we are heading on our way. We're about 12 minutes out. Now, at this stage, 5,500 feet, yeah, we can drop low. I mean, looking ahead, there's no worry of any low terrain here. Looking at Navigraph, you know, we're going this direction. Now, there is information here, look. Contact Bangor approach within 20 nautical miles on 118.92 or 118, sorry, 0.925. Now, the fact that we're already talking to ATC, we don't need this. We don't need this because we're under a center or a departure. We're under a controller frequency, all right? If we were not talking to ATC and we were on Unicom, for example, we would have to contact Bangor within 20 nautical miles. This is where you have to be looking at the charts to figure out, hey, is there information here that I need? So, we're flying towards Bangor. We're not using live weather, but if we were, this is where we want to turn or tune into its ATIS or AWOS or ASOS, yeah? What's the weather doing? So here's COM. Now, I think I can go COM 2 on this, can't I? How do we do that again, lads? I think I had to tap on the audio panel. COM 2. And if I go to 12775, so it's giving me an ATIS. Now I should be able to listen to him on 2, but it doesn't seem to be working here. So we'll just swap them briefly.
Visibility 1/4 mile.
And we'll have a listen now to this ATC.
Temperature 1. Dew point 1. Altimeter 29er 89er.
Let's get an idea.
Density altitude -1400 feet. Arriving and departing runway 33, advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact, you have information Juliet.
Okay,
Bangor
so
International Airport, information Juliet.
So Juliet is what we have. We have another way of getting the ATIS if we wanted to. We can actually use the PMS 50 GTN. So we can go in here and we can go to, let me see, waypoint information, the airport, put in Bangor, and we can actually get the weather data. So we can see it here, look. Here's the ATIS. Isn't that savagely handy? Savage, right? What else can we get? So we can see all the information. If there's NOTAMs there, we can grab that. And we can also view the charts if you connect your Navigraph to it. Yeah? Isn't that, like, I loved you can do all of this. Class. Yeah, we'll eventually...
553 Alpha Bravo, maintain 3,500 traffic at your Trio Bonanza, same altitude.
So there's someone getting traffic reports. So we are about 10 minutes out.
5 Romeo Mike, contact Bangor departure on 118.925.
Contact Bangor departure on 118.925 for 5 Romeo Mike. All right. 118.925 transfer. Always give it a few moments when you change frequency, just in case someone else is talking. Bangor departure, November 235 Romeo Mike, 5,500. Now let's see, does it figure it out?
November 235 Romeo Mike, Bangor departure, good evening, Searsmont altimeter 29.901.
Searsmont altimeter on 29901. 5 Romeo Mike is requesting a full stop landing at Bangor. It should already know this, but we'll just be sure. We'll probably look for a descent here now as well, because we're getting close.
5 Romeo Mike, clear to land runway 33 at Bangor. Wind calm, altimeter 29.901.
Now that's kind of an issue with say intentions at the minute. We shouldn't be getting a landing clearance this early. We're 10 miles away. We're 20 miles away. That's feedback I'll give them. Clear to land, runway 33, 5 Romeo Mike. Alright, so we're going to drop down to 3,500 feet. Usually they would say, you know,
Hello there.
Clear to enter or transition or whatever, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things we need to look at. So we're going to descend now. Watch that speed come up. Usually you get like some sort of a pattern entry. They'll say, you know, enter left base or enter on the downwind, something like that. So runway 33 is what they're giving us. So, okay, runway 33. That's going to be facing kind of a northerly direction. So our heading, we're just going to drop it down a little bit. But that's something, that's a bit of feedback I'll give to the guys that say intentions, because you just wouldn't be getting a clearance at that far out. What if you request to join the pattern? Does that work? Yeah, that'll work. Now, he shouldn't have given me clearance. It should have been tower. So he would have given me, he should have said, you know, report on the left downwind.
Contact Bangor Tower on 120.7.
Speak of the devil. Contact Bangor Tower on 120.7 for 5 Romeo Mike. So let's see what this guy says. 120.7. We'll talk to the tower now. Bangor Tower, November 235 Romeo Mike, 4,000 descending 3,500. Inbound for a full stop landing.
Meridian 391 Bangor Tower, say altitude and intentions.
Let's see what he says.
November 235 Romeo Mike, Bangor Tower, enter left base for runway 33.
Here we go. Enter left base for runway 33, 5 Romeo Mike. So I made a bit of a grand. So our entry instruction is enter a left base for runway 33. All right. We're over here somewhere. It's telling us to make entry to the left base, which is going to be down here. We need to appear ourselves down here for runway 33. If it was going to be, you know, enter the downwind for runway 33, well, we need to be up here somewhere. If it was right base, well, we'd have to fly all the way around and come in this way. So our entry instruction is enter left base for runway 33. So let's just pretend we weren't cleared by the approach controller, because that was a mistake. It's AI, it's going to make mistakes. Yeah, so Linny, what it wasn't that they gave us clearance, it's the fact that they cleared me to land. That was the problem. It made a bit of a mistake, but it's grand. Now, if this wasn't a towered airport, at this stage, ATC would hand us over to CTAF. You know, they'd say contact advisory or monitor advisory and probably give us the frequency that we need. You know what I mean? Are we all understanding and getting some sort of a wild, mad idea? Is any of this either interesting or making sense? Or is it absolute, unadulterated, just pure shite? Let us know. If you like it, if you terribly like it, hit the little like button on YouTube. It helps. But hopefully you're enjoying it. You know, hopefully. I was making cereal. People like me are what you call Augusta twice. You have my full attention. Brilliant. I learned ATC procedures through watching aviation YouTubers, so it's somewhat familiar. Nice. It's all interesting, always stuff to learn. Yes. Brilliant. So we want to be visual for this. Again, looking at my charts. See here, now this is probably hard to follow, so we can do one of these, this, and this. Oh Jesus, go back to that. Right, we're flying here at the moment. Now see on the chart we can see there's a river. Well, if we follow this river, that's where the runway is. You see that? So we're going to follow this river, yeah? And turn back on all my stuff. So there's the river, look. So if we use this visually now, autopilot off, we're going to follow the river. We're going to use this as our little visual reference point because we're VF4. And we're going to use this. And then we'll report when we're on the left base. Which we're not fully there yet.
Can I get a refund?
No, tag off. So there's the airport, but we're a little bit far out. So we continue on in. And then we'll report to the tower to say, hey, we're left base. Then see what he says. Schutz is throwing pen lids at me. Sit in the corner. Face the wall. Right, we're a little bit far out just yet, but we'll give it another moment for our left base. Now, we're still quite high, so we're going to start descending further now because we're entering the pattern, usually 1,000 feet above. John Markham says, I think it's interesting to learn, but I can't use it for now because I can only use Xbox. It's a huge missed opportunity. They need to get this stuff onto Xbox. You know what I mean? Say intentions work really hard to get to this level. Yeah, it's very good, Dougal.
I put the gun.
Jesus!
Baby.
It's Jane Toad. The lovely Jane is with us. Good evening, Jane. Hope you're well. Oh, come here. Jane, is it today it's your birthday? Thank you very, very much indeed. Hope you're well. We're here, oh God, we're here trying to do VF4 stuff. Training for VATSIM. Using say intentions. It's mad. Bangor Tower, 5 Romeo Mike, left base, runway 33. Let's see what they say. He's now.
Attention all aircraft.
Allow
Kilo
myself
now
to
current,
introduce
altimeter 2988.
Myself.
5 Romeo Mike, wind 085 at 3. Runway 33, cleared to land.
That got very busy. Clear to land, runway 33, 5 Romeo Mike. So the call before that, they just said current altimeter is 2988. That's all they said, right? Right, power coming down. It sure is. Say intentions stream. How fun. Right? Happy birthday, Jane. Hope you're having a great day. How did the cake turn out? Jeez, it looked lovely. Right, we're very high, Murph. Not like you to make some sort of a mistake. What's our speed? Lower the legs there, sure. We see what happens. Notch flaps are good luck as well. Gene says, Murph, you'd make a decent CFI. Me rates would be shocking bad though, you know. I'd have to pay the student. Go on, let us fly. Digesting nicely. Nice, nice. Brilliant. Now, I'm supposed to be visual here, but sure, you know, we're all right, nearly, kind of. The good news is we got our landing clearance. You know. So we're still a little bit high, but it's grand. Easy now. You've overshot the runway, but it's all right, lads. We're going to make it look precisely at what we intended to do. Yes. All right, watch the speed. Gear is indeed down. Ease up in the flaps. All right. We're very high, but we'll fix all that now in a second. The good news is it's a massive runway, you know. The good news. No distractions. Yeah. Keep it super ethereal. Super ethereal. Wait now. Right, full flaps. Get in there now, you devil you. Oh, steady.
Sleepy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Filthy! That just wasn't cool. I nearly bit me tongue. Now, we were clear to land, which is brilliant. There's our touchdown zone where the big white markers are. Watching our speed. Oh, it is looking beautiful, lads. Beautiful now. Detention with Murph. Don't bin it now. Yeah, no pressure. Jesus. Easy now. Gently. Please pay no attention to the other aircraft. We were here first. Right. Power to idle. Hold the nose. Easy. Easy.
I've been drinking like a mad idiot.
Beautiful. Right, we're down. Flaps in. Now we need to find a little exit. Where is our exit? Kilo. Up here on the right.
Taxi whiskey, taxi to general aviation.
Margarine it. Easy now. Brakes. Imagine if I missed it. Imagine if I missed it. Easy now. And 5 Romeo Mike, clear of the active on Kilo.
5 Romeo Mike, welcome to Bangor. Contact ground on 121.9er.
Over the ground on 121.9er for 5 Romeo Mike. It was kind of him.
5 Romeo Mike, taxi to general aviation parking via Kilo Alpha. Have a great day.
Thanks very much. I need to talk to ground though. He shouldn't have given me that taxi clearance. Shh. Bangor ground, November 235 Romeo Mike, clear of the active on Kilo. Request taxi to parking. I can't believe it's not butter and go around. Brilliant. What is
Romeo Mike, taxi to general aviation parking via Kilo Alpha. Have a good day.
General aviation via Kilo and Alpha for 5 Romeo Mike. Alright. So Kilo, which we were on, hang a right here now onto Alpha. Beautiful, lads. Beautiful. Now, as we kind of progress through this course, lads, jeez, look at the speed. As we progress through this course, it's going to be real VATSIM controllers helping us out. But you get an idea of the sort of flights, right? We'll do a bit of learning, some of the tutorial work, then we'll focus on what the flight itself is going to be. Then we'll do the flight. And after the flight, then we'll figure out, okay, what went well for us, what didn't go well for us. The feedback from this flight could have been, okay, Murph, you know, you shouldn't have called at that stage, or you missed a call, or, you know, you got that sentence completely wrong. All this kind of stuff, right? Or indeed the controller might give feedback to say, hey, listen, where you flew, you know, you should have requested this or that. You know what I mean? The whole idea is to give ourselves feedback so we know what's happening. We know if we're doing something right or we're doing something wrong. This flight, which I recommend everyone does, right? Augusta up to Bangor. It's only about 30 minutes. it'll just get you kind of familiar with the areas we're going to be flying in and around New England. Now, a lot of them are going to go down to probably Nantucket. It's going to be in and around Boston as well. And with a bit of luck, we'll actually have Evan do some controlling on VATSIM for us as well. You know, one thing I noticed is you said you were clear of the active before you crossed the whole short line. There you go. That's exactly the sort of feedback we want to be giving, because we're here to help each other. And don't worry if you make a mistake, it's grand. I promise you I'm going to make more mistakes than anyone. Right? I promise you. So don't worry. It's all about learning and figuring things out. It's not a competition, you know, unless we're doing the group photograph at the end. Do you ever see Hot Shots? At ease, gentlemen. Do you ever see that scene? Right? That's what it's going to be. Right, so we're over. This is the general aviation ramp, so we'll park up here, facing into the sunset, and there's everyone coming in as well. Nice. So what I recommend, guys, get some practice in with your favorite aircraft, just to learn it and be on top of it. Make sure that it's working and there's no, there's no need for any updates, or perhaps there could be a bug with the aircraft waiting on some sort of an update. I mean, look at the stage of me parking, look. Oh, Jesus. It's grand. Right, so parking brake on. Transponder needs to come off. Flick it off. And let me see. Taxi light off. Pitot heat can come off. Avionics, good luck to you. And shut her down. All right. Beacon off. Mags off. Battery. And sure, we can lock her up at this stage. And static elements. So there we have it. A little flight that was done. All about just kind of, do you know what I mean? Practicing. Jays, look at the shoes in your man. It's a matter of practicing. Practice doesn't make perfect. Always remember this. Practice makes permanent. It's a thing that I say that drives Gibbo Ireland nuts. He hates it. Such a muppet, Murph. But it's the truth. Practice makes permanent. The more you do it, the more you're practicing it, well, the easier it is to kind of get used to it. Do you know what I mean? Murph, you've inspired me to buy the Duke, and I'm blown away by the realism. Oh, down in front, the Duke is so good. The Duke is awesome. Aston Macca says, are they live players or AI? Both. Say Intentions are doing a lot of good stuff. Only bad if you're practicing wrong. True. But that's where, that's where the community comes into it. We help each other out. And don't worry if you do something wrong. You're going to learn from the mistake. Put it this way. I would think it would be much harder if you kind of just breezed through an entire ATC course with no feedback. Imagine that. You're going to think everything is going the right way. All the answers are correct. You're doing everything perfect. And next thing you go flying some night on VATSIM and the controller's like, what are you doing? And you're like, what are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? It's vital that we get the feedback, you know? Did you have Join FS turned on that flight, Murph? I didn't, 98 Vulcan. No, I didn't. The hope and the plan, lads, is going to be we'll be using Say Intentions. And then it's going to be VATSIM. It's going to be on VATSIM, do you know? So let's do a little recap of what we've done this evening. So with our ground school document, we've done a little introductory flight. Come down here, Murph. We've done our little introductory flight tonight, just to kind of, this is how everything works. We had a very kind of brief look at the charts and the different airspace, but the main stuff we covered tonight was looking at the Boston Virtual Wings stuff. Pre-flights, part 1, 2, and 3. When you have all of that done, if you want to go on yourself, progress and start doing these flights, you absolutely can. Remember, they're going to hold your hand every step of the way. Or if you want to practice these flights, but not doing so online, just so you can get kind of used to the areas. So the first flight here, you can see you're going to depart from Kilo Alpha Charlie Kilo, and you're going to arrive back there as well. The first flight is just the traffic pattern. You're doing pattern work, yeah? Normally flown left traffic unless your charts say otherwise. And that's just doing a couple of patterns, right? A couple of circuits. The next one then is going to be VFR navigation and flight following. So this will see if take off from one airport and land at another. So you can kind of see how they kind of work all this stuff up. This one here I'm looking forward to it. Part 3 is going to see us flying out of, is that Augusta State Airport? And that's going to bring us into Logan, a huge international airport, or at least bring us into that area. And we'll be talking to ATC because we'll need the Bravo airspace clearance. All right. Anyone struggling? Anyone has any problems? Let us know on our Discord how these work. We don't want anyone falling behind or feeling that they have fallen behind. All you need to do, lads, if you've any questions, come over to our Discord. It's under the ATC and VATSIM channel. You'll find a channel in here that says the FAA ATC Course, and you can post stuff in there. You can create threads. If there's additional information, you can do it all from within here. How do we create a thread from this now? Is it just like thread? I never really do threads. Here we go. Thread. So name is going to be, I don't know, stuff. No, Naughty Gnome or someone, or Gib. One of the lads will come up with a better idea for this, but you get the idea. You can make off little, you can create little threads from this, and that'll give you all the information that you need. And I will put in an absolute barrel load of information there as well. Plus, once this little ground school document, 281 page, once this is finished, this will be made available over on our website. Just have a read through it. There's a lot of reading in it, but don't worry. The whole idea is we'll use this as the backup. When we're asked to do something, we can say, hey, we need to jump in here and figure out what they mean when they say this. What do they mean? Right? There's tons of information, as I say, online. VATSIM have an awful lot themselves. But this is everything condensed, if you like, into one little place. So, yeah, there's lots and lots. The manual only goes up to phase 1. After phase 1, we'll move on to phase 2, and that is going to be looking at the IF4 stuff. And then phase 3, that's primarily going to be at all the Oshkosh stuff. All right. So I think I have information up here. Look, one up there now. Where is it? The Oshkosh 16.1. So hang on. Where do we need to find? Oshkosh phase 3. So A, B, C, and there now. D. I'll find it. You don't worry, lads. I'll find it. Here's a man scrolling through pages. Right? It's here somewhere. Where is it? Overview of VATSIM operations. How to transition. Yes, we're getting close. SimVenture. Right? SimVenture. SimVenture, an annual VATSIM event that replicates the Oshkosh Stuff, the world's largest air show and fly-in event. Pilots must follow the FAA Oshkosh NOTAM procedure, which includes unique arrival flows. You've heard of the FISC arrival, yeah? Key procedures that will do: the FISC arrival, a visual procedure requiring pilots to follow specific landmarks into Whitman Regional. There's no ATC clearances for landings. You got to rock your wings. Temporary airspace modifications, strict radio discipline. We're going to read the official VATSIM SimVenture NOTAM. And the main one, I think, is from Pilot Edge. Practice the FISC arrival. We'll do that ourselves as we're getting used to it. And how do we work on using correct phraseology? You know, hello, it's me in the plane. I want to do a thing. We have a number for you to call, right? Page 3 is just a big picture of Murph in a hot tub. Yes. Page 281. Yeah, there's many pages. And there's more to come. There's probably another, I think it's 60. But don't worry about that. This is all for free, lads. If you find mistakes in it, please tell me. I'll fix it. There's a ton of information in this ground school document. Like, tons of it, right? And as I said, it covers IF4 and VF4 for European flying. We're now working on the US conversion stuff. It's free. Anyone can use it. It's for flying online, or even if you just want to learn how to do some stuff. It's all there. It's all there in the square. Now I have to get a picture of myself in the right page 3, you know. But that's where it all is. It's all available over on our website, twotonemurphy.com. Does it include the LAX special flight rules? No, but we can find them. We can find them. All right. So that kind of concludes tonight's stream. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let us know. Let us know over on Discord. Any questions, any issues, let us know the crack. We're going to start the course next Monday night. All right. at probably 1900 Zulu because the clocks spring forward here. And starting this course, it's going to be doing the first flight with wings, if we can. But we're really going to delve more into learning the airspaces. That's where the heavy lifting of this entire course is going to be. Understanding all the different airspaces. If I scroll up here high enough, we'll see all the airspaces. I think I put them in. I did. So here's all the airspace stuff and how it works. Yeah. All right. So we're going to focus on that next Monday. We'll spend a bit of time looking at sectional charts and how do we do a bit of flight planning? How can we do a bit of, how do we file our flight plan and have a look at all the information? All right. It's everything we're using is free, except say intentions. They are about to release. It's currently in beta. It's an IF4 to IF4 style flight, right? But that's for free. That's coming very soon. For this though, the first couple of lessons we're doing, it's all about the VF4 side of the house. If you learn visual flight rules, which no one really does because they tend to be in small aircraft, everyone wants to jump into the airliners, which is awesome. But if you learn this side of the house, the other stuff is so much more easier. So much more easier. In the real world, you learn this stuff first, then you move to the airliner stuff. As in you progress. You know what I'm saying? But again, pick an aircraft you're very comfortable with, and we're going to start learning these different regions. Boston, of course, being the main class Bravo. And then we go from there. There'll be different class Charlies and Echo, there's Golf, there's all sorts of different Deltas are in there as well. We've all different sorts of airspaces. And flying in New England, this is where this all is going to be. And Evan is going to give us a hand with all this as well, which is awesome. All right. So thank you all so very much indeed. Jane, happy birthday again. Thanks a million for tuning in. We're back to you tomorrow night. We got some Euro trucking tomorrow, which I wanted me indicator stocks, but they didn't arrive yet. So we'll do some trucking. We're in Greece tomorrow doing some trucking. Wednesday night we have the news. We invite Lord Freet on, brand new add-on. We're going to be having a look at that. And then on Friday night we have a group flight. And we're flying in Spain because I'm looking at potential places for the Murphy family vacation. Yes. It's like National Lampoons. So we're going to be flying the 182Q on Friday night. Should be fun. Right, lads, that's it. I'm away to bed now. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.